Hello, friends, and welcome to another exciting episode of Snap Judgments. I am Glazer, not Roy Rogers, Pulse, Sandworm, Emperor God. That is me. I am joined by the one who's going to slay me one day and take the throne. It is Gunny T co-hosting for the night. How you doing, Gunny?
I'm doing fantastic. Really looking forward to some things coming up. We've got two amazing guests on with us today, and I'm just looking forward to having some great chats about Marvel Snap.
Cool. I believe I'm now supposed to ask you about the weather.
The weather actually wasn't that bad. We had a lot of rain, but fortunately for me, I live close enough to the coast that the water all has somewhere to go, so I really don't receive any flooding. Even when we had Florence come through, like I had no damage to the house, no flooding or anything. So we were perfectly fine. Took our hanging plants down and took our pillows from our chairs on inside, and that was about it.
So would you say the weather outside is frightful?
I don't know about frightful, but it's
Okay.
I actually had to wear sunglasses on my way home from work. I went into work with like lots of rain and lots of wind, and then came home wearing sunglasses. So it's getting better.
Cool. All right, we're going to begin introducing our special guests with our new first guest. It is one of my favorite Twitter creators, one of the only reasons to use that hell site of an app, like, because there's basically, outside of me and occasionally Prashan's videos, there's no other way to get these amazing decks. It's Black Dama. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on. Glad to be here. Super excited and you're all guys super cool. And yeah, thank you so much. It's a great honor to be here.
It is genuinely a pleasure, and so happy that you're off so that you can stay up super late. First, tell people where you're from so they know why you're up so late, and then if you're willing to, let them know how to find you and how they can follow you.
So the name is Black Dama. I'm here in Germany, so it's currently 2:40 a.m. in the morning. So it's super late. But yeah, like I said, I'm down. I want to do this. You can find me on Twitter. It's spelled Black Dama. So the B is a 6, so it's 6 Lack Dama. Twitter, you can find all my Marvel Snap content there. I do different content on Instagram. If you want to check that out, it's the same name. And yeah, that's how you can find me.
As soon as someone goes off on a rant, I'm following you on my personal Instagram. I didn't know you did Instagram stuff. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so definitely check that out.
Cool. I've never done Marvel Snap on Instagram. I thought of it earlier, like my wife is doing reels for her business, and I was like, God, there's like no Snap content on Instagram. I guess there is. I was wrong. So yeah, very cool.
Yes.
All right. It is a new season, and new season means the Sand God Emperor of new card content. It is Docty. Hey, Docty.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. So you've never done it on this show, but can you do the thing you do at the start of your videos, please, sir?
You want the zoo wee mama? We're here to talk about a new season.
I did want the Zooey Mama. It occurred to me as I was watching one of your videos, like, that mother never did this on any of our shows. He's like,
That's true.
You're one of
That's
our
true.
most featured guests, and you've never once. It's ice cold.
That's true.
We made Bootman do his little speech if you love Marvel Snap as much as he does, so it's only fair.
Yeah.
All right, Docty, how can our friends find you?
Find me on YouTube and Twitter, but mainly YouTube is where I put out all my content and videos. It's Docty_snap, so it's DOCTY, Docty_snap.
Cool, nice and simple. Go follow Docty, and if you'd like to engage with us further here at Snap Judgments, we are Snap Judgments Pod on YouTube, where you get a video 7 days a week. 1 day a week is this podcast, and the other 6 are deck videos. Also, our big thing, we were on the Marvel Snap official YouTube. Thank you,
Congratulations!
Awesome.
Woo,
Awesome.
that was huge.
About it literally all week.
And that video,
big
that video
achievement.
looked amazing. You did such a fantastic job on that.
It was great.
It
was great.
The editing was awesome. Man. Where'd the editing come from, Aaron?
The editing came from a member of our Patreon /Discord / one of our friends, Philip Rakovich Racco. So huge props to Racco for that, because totally freaking carried.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
he's been editing all of my shorts, and I was like, "So Ratko, why don't you make your own content? You're really smart. You're really personable." And he was like, "So I can't deal with the sound of my own voice." And I was like, "That's amazing," because like I tried to like watch his edit of my video, and I can't deal with the sound of my own voice. So that's why I never edit anything of my own, because I'd have to listen to myself, and that sounds like torture. That is not worth it. Uh, aside, and wait, what else am I supposed to advertise? Oh, we're on Twitter at SnapJudgeCast. I guess you can follow there. Just follow the YouTube. I don't really care about most of the other things. But the other important thing, I'm actually going to throw it to Gunny too. Gunny, where else should they find us? We just hit 1,000 members. Go.
Over 1,000. I think we're
Over
one.
1,000.
I'll tell you right now. We are at 1,000, and of course it's going to go slow now. 1,700 something. Or sorry, 1,070 something.
Okay.
But anyways, that's over on
double.
on Discord, right? So we have a Discord space, the Snap Judgments League Discord. That's where you can find all kinds of friendly areas. We have cooking decks areas. We have Help Me Climb, where people will actually like just stream their gameplay, and high level players. JD McDonaldino goes in there sometimes and coaches people just to help them get better. Like there is all kinds of awesome space in there. That is also where we do our lovely Snap Judgments tournaments. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know that we have the Snap Judgments League that's going to be kicking off season 4 at the beginning of September. And I'm looking forward to it, right? So actually tomorrow, I guess for you guys yesterday, we're doing a free tournament for everyone on the server, and I will be doing another one next week, date to be announced, but doing another free event. The goal behind that is that to enter our tournaments, you do have to be a $1 patron at least for Snap Judge for Aaron's Patreon. But I want the opportunity to convince you of why these tournaments are so great. So come over, come participate, try it out. If you don't like it, by all means, just hang out in our Discord. We have tons and tons of great snappers on there. But if you do like the tournaments, become a $1 patron. Those tournaments are available to you all the time. I think I'm up to over 60 tournaments since we started this now in February.
Well, by this time next week, it'll be like 63, so, you know.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Enough social stuff. Let's get going to general Snap stuff. Let's just have a quick talk. We're going to start with Black Dama here. Any thoughts on Deadpool's Diner or Cassandra Nova?
So Deadpool's Diner, I really like the whole idea, and I don't really have anything bad to say, just for the fact that it's just like something refreshing. And like the opportunity, like let's say you put in the grind a little bit, you have to try it out. It's like always when something new comes out, Marvel Snap, you have to like invest the time. Okay, let's see what's new. Let's see how all this works. Figure everything out. Then you play around, you get your butt kicked, you lose some bubs, you gain some bubs. At first me trying it out, like I had to like wait like an hour. I'm like, damn, I lost fast, and I need to study this more. And yeah, basically just grinded through it really fast, Cassandra Nova as a extra card, so you have like a reward if you like push through it, which is pretty cool. And like, yeah, you don't have to invest money, you don't have to invest gold. If you just grind, if you know your way around Marvel Snap, you can get a new card, which is pretty cool for like everyone. So yeah, in general, I think it's a pretty cool idea, and I hope they continue to do cool stuff like that in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I liked it. I got off to like a decent start. I didn't play like right when it launched because I think it was during the week and I was working. But I saw people saying, don't go all in right away because you would be timed out if you lose. So I played it pretty safe from the start. Safe with their treats because I got kind of that heads up from Twitter. And then it did feel a bit of a grind at some points to actually reach Cassandra. And then I did go for the variant. But it was a lot of resources. If I put in that amount of time or grind and I felt like I didn't get anything good, I would have been a little salty, I think. But, getting a Series 5 card saves me a lot of resources. And I was able to, even stock up more Spotlight keys and collector's tokens that week because there was no new card in the Spotlight week. So I found it worth it. I know it was a bit of a grind, but I feel like it was a fair trade-off because they gave you so much.
All right.
Aaron, I do got something bad to say about Deadpool's Diner. We already talked about this a little bit.
Is it just going to be people are complaining too much?
This is rant time. All right.
Go for it.
Okay, here it comes, man.
God, Deadpool's Diner, right?
Mhm.
was fantastic. It was the best thing we have had in Marvel Snap to date. And I don't know how anyone could see it any other way. We got a free Series 5 card, which is about $40 worth of value. And people
Yeah,
were
at
complaining.
least.
Yeah, and people were complaining because really I think it was like they didn't get it fast enough. And I do agree. Some of the things in the beginning were maybe a little bit off. You had to lose and stay out for an hour. But after you kind of figure that out, I don't know of a single player who wanted it and was able to put the grind in and didn't get it. Like I really don't know of a single. There's probably the toilet champions out there that log on like
Hey,
once a week that didn't get it,
hey,
right?
hey.
But really, like there was people screaming about how they hated this and,
Look,
and
some
all
people
that.
didn't make it. We don't have to shame people who tried and didn't make it. I don't like that.
What I'm getting at is like anybody who really wanted it, I think it was very doable, very
Yeah,
very
for
doable,
sure.
without even being that good. As long as you're able to put in the grind. And here's my main complaint: $40 worth of value is out there. It's able to be gotten, and it was a little bit difficult to get. Free things are okay to be hard to earn. Not everything just has to be given to you. And I think that's what the real complaint from me comes from, is like the community just uprised about this. And I think it was because they weren't receiving it fast enough. Whenever they thought they really, I mean, I think the main draw there was that Cassandra Nova was the card to help counter the deck that everybody hated at the time.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I feel like that just drove players to like really want it and then like feel like they had to pay money. But honestly, like it was such a good event. And it wasn't even only the variant. There was borders in there. There was like all kinds of free,
Yeah.
awesome stuff. Like I loved what they did there. And I really hope. And the problem too is whenever I feel like the angriest people are the loudest, right? People who just like it. I don't really talk about it that much. They're just like, oh, cool, this is all right. But people who hate it are standing on top of a mountain and screaming about how bad it is, right? And I don't want to put a sour taste in the Second Dinner's mouth on this event whenever it was actually so good. And I really just hope that players can digest that and just consider that going forward. I know we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but there's a player today that complained to me about an event happening, but I'll wait for that one.
Ooh, okay.
Mhm.
So
Interesting.
I didn't enjoy Diner at all. I've been fairly clear on that. I didn't have fun with the mode. Thank you for free stuff. It had nothing to do with work. I cleared the shit out of Diner. It was not hard for me. I'm pretty decent at this game. I didn't think it's fun. It's not for me, but I'm happy other people enjoyed it at the end of the day. And I'm extra happy that Second Dinner has stopped putting money as their first and only priority. So, yeah.
And can we talk about one more thing with Diner on a positive note?
Yeah.
Talk about Bub
No, we can't.
donating. That
Oh,
was
that
so
was
cool.
Yeah. That
like,
was
was
big.
super
the Snap
cool. That
community
was
just
really
came
cool.
together and was like, hey guys, if you're done, by the way, start pumping those bubs. And they did.
I
There was
didn't
plenty of people out there.
I didn't even notice that at first because I was like at those 50 million bub games. I'm like, all right, let me just get in a couple of more wins, and then I got this super awesome variant for the super awesome card that was pretty easy. Let me say, if you put in the grind to get. So, and I also like that principle. Like, let's say you run out of bubs, you're like, man, instead of paying gold, if you just like wait a little bit and then they just like refund and you get that level cap. It reminded me of like Dark Souls because I'm a super huge Dark Souls fan. Say you have like 1 million souls in the bank to level up your character, you die and you try to retrieve it, then you die again and it's gone.
Yeah.
And then in this type of principle, like you have like your savings, so like you can't go down. You can only get this card, even those refresh rates of like, okay, let's say I lost all my stuff, then I'll go about my day 2 to 3 hours, or go to work, go to sleep, wake up, and have like a fresh set of bubs. I'll be like, okay, I just need to get like 2-3 good wins in, and I'm in the positive. I'm looking good. Really awesome principle.
Yeah. The community is awesome. I will not doubt that. All right. Ready?
Yep.
Alliances. Same order. Black Dom, take us away. What do you think?
So alliances, what can I say? It's fresh. It's in the baby shoes. I like it a lot. The first concept, very decent. We've been begging for a social platform, something where you can interact with friends in it, even if it's just like adding your homies, or like maybe have something cool where you can like see your cards or put in your favorite variants. Like the alliances is like a very good step, like very good first step in the right direction. And Yeah, it just like gets the whole Marvel Snap community even more together, gets the people even more competitive, be like, hey man, we can build something great. We've been begging for social features for a very long time, and I'm super happy that they rolled it out, and they're definitely going to improve on it and make it better. Some things could be better, some things are awesome, but just in general that we have something's just very, very nice, and just it's like very, very healthy for the game in general.
Yeah, I would agree. I think to start, it's at a good spot. Obviously, they've been very vocal that they're going to start pretty like bare bones, not have too many features, and later on they'll add like alliance wars or battles or whatever, and they'll add more to it. I feel like at launch, it's good. It has enough at launch. I think being a content creator, it's kind of I guess kind of biased. I don't really get full use out of all the features, just because we have a couple with my community and we run it through the Discord. But if you weren't in a Discord, which I feel like most Snap players, there's a lot of casuals who aren't in Discords or aren't, specifically kind of tied to one creator, then the chat feature in game is probably really cool. For me, I don't really use that, but I could see most players really enjoying that chat feature and the social element they didn't have. Some of the bounties, I learned kind of which ones I liked and which one I didn't. Like some feel too tedious for me. So, people kind of
Yeah.
learned usually the specific card combos you see people dodging because your whole alliance shares the bounty boards, and those ones like stick around. You see,
Those ones are
I do feel
easy.
like it depends. I feel like those ones are usually avoided by people, so they usually fill up. But we did get the rewards the first week, my alliance and the second alliance did too. And then, I felt like it was a bit of a grind. I don't know if I'll personally get my 4,000 points each week, but I think I'm okay with that. If you have 30 people or if you join alliance that's pretty full, I think you're not going to have too much trouble getting the full alliance rewards, or at least the credit rewards, although, the rewards will change from time to time. But I think it's at a really good spot to start. I think it's good and it's headed in the right direction. So I've been very happy with alliances.
All right, Doctor, I'm gonna tell you the secret sauce to doing the 2-card combo, or 1 card even. It's
Put
just
in
take,
Aeroshim? What is
take
it?
2 random cards out of Aeroshim and put them
Yeah,
in.
exactly.
So that's like
I know.
it's like a day one Marvel Snap strategy ever since like weekend missions came to
Yeah.
play with the new card. Man, why do I have to play with a card I don't like to play with? Okay, I'm
Yep.
taking one of my main decks. Let me take my classic
Yeah.
OG Death Domain Galactus deck, and I'll just like, all right, let me just run this deck without Shang-Chi and
Yep.
just put in that card so I get the rewards, and once it's done, I'll swap it back.
We
Yeah,
had 3 of those 2-card combos pulled up in my alliance, and I put all 6 cards into an Aeroshim deck and just took it to
Oh,
proving
that's a
ground.
good strategy.
Yeah,
Clear the bounty
proving
like
board
ground.
for
it
the
works. It
team.
works because it's no different. Either playing Arsham or putting random cards in, you can make it work because having an extra energy, Quinjet on turn 1 is insane anyway.
Yeah.
So, but you all know that. So,
I mean, just keep some of those key cards in there, like Blob to win a lane or something, and you'll be all right.
yeah, exactly.
All right. So my thoughts on alliances is, Aaron, how come everything that we do, you have to turn into a monster?
Well, because I fucked up because I tried
How many
to
alliances
be.
are we up to right now?
We're
13
we're
alliances, I
13.
think. Oh my
We're
God. So-
okay. We're at 12 real alliances, and then the competitive alliance,
Yeah.
which existed, and I was just friends with half of them. I was like,
That's
"Would you
funny.
guys like to be our competitive alliance?" They're like, "Yeah,
So
sure."
I'll give you the story of how this went, right? So poor Models. Models
Poor
made
Models.
Models made a Google forum before the alliances came out to prepare us for it, right? So we had myself, Models, Two Ties, and Philip that were going to do alliances. So 4 of them ready. So members on our Discord could fill out the Google Doc to then be added to an alliance. Well, it got much bigger, much faster. we just had to start pulling. Like, our idea was, let's take some of the $10 patrons that we have, because those are obviously very dedicated players, people who've been around since the beginning. And Aaron just started messaging them, hey, do you want to be an alliance member? Which were people that were already in our alliances, by the way. He's snaking people, solid players from my alliance, to then go run a different
Whatever,
alliance.
you'll be fine.
But yeah, so we ended up pulling some of our key members from our Discord community, then started opening up other alliances. So it's really been fantastic. It's been so great. I have some ideas already about some alliance battles that I would like to maybe do here in the future, and I think that would be really fun. Yeah,
Sounds good.
You saw that,
Sounds
right?
good.
But I think that would be really fun, and it's just a way to engage, right? It's again, it's free stuff that you're not really doing anything besides what you are already doing. And for those people who aren't really focused on making it, to climb in the infinite ladder after you've already made it to infinite, what else is there to do? And I will tell you that the alliances and the bounties that we have out there made me play way more Conquest than I've ever played my entire life. I don't know how many silver tickets that I had, because by the way, the key to winning the 8 cube battles is Proving Grounds, because most people, or at least they should, a lot of people will just snap immediately. So you win them, you lose them. And I tell you what, whenever I'm going for those 8 cubers, I play out my game, even if I'm losing, and I give my opponent eight cubes, because they might be going for the same thing. So I think that's kind of fair. If I'm going for it, I'm going to let my opponent get it too.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Before I go into alliances, I asked in my comments today, I asked if my people got Cassandra Nova. The people in the comments, and I got 230 comments, and 2 of them didn't get Cassandra Nova. So that seems like
pretty good numbers,
reasonable
man.
odds. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems it's a very good, very well balanced.
I mean,
Speaks for itself.
There's some selection bias here, right? These are people who are engaged enough to watch someone who shares a bunch of decks every day, but still 230 people and 2 didn't get it is like,
I got
really
86%. I did a YouTube poll, about 2,000 votes. 86% of people told me they got Cassandra Nova. Just 14% said that they did not from Deadpool.
Yeah, I mean, those are pretty good. I mean, it's allowed to be a little difficult to do something, right? And before we bounce off alliances, I just want to shout this out there. I didn't
even talk about alliances yet.
Snap Judgment Alliance. We have the #1 snapper in the world from last season, Sizer, making #1. He was streaming it over on the Discord. His #1 chase there at the very end, and it was really awesome to see. He was playing with .geo on there, and they were just all chatting together, keeping that #1 rank. And I tell you what, man, we got it. #1 snapper in the world over on the Snap Judgments Alliance area.
So I'd also like it noted that, in my opinion, he's now one of the 3 players that has a claim to being the best Marvel Snap player ever in the world.
Yeah.
He's won major tournaments. He won Snap Masters too. He's won 2 seasons now, and he's been second multiple other seasons. Like, he's got as good a resume as anybody. It's him, Lambie, and Geo who are like the 3 who have real major claims. Everyone else is missing either the top finish or the tournament success. So, like, yeah, I think it's very cool. Big, Sizer's a friend, but also a big fan of his content. Really good person.
Really nice guy as well.
Yeah. All right. Alliances. I love them. I'm all about them. I am middle of the pack in my alliance. I should probably be higher, but I have to test decks. Like, part of my job is testing a bunch of decks, and so I'm going to stay middle of the pack. I was like second in cubes, but middle of the pack overall, which I think, because I just don't have as much time to do bounties. I win a fair amount, but what are you going to do? I like it. I think it's really good. I think it really increases engagement with the game. It makes me want to log in, whereas, like, fairly often I'll be like, I'll get 10 games in with this deck, and then I'm done for the day. Now I want to check back in the game, and want to check back in the game, not feel like I have to, and that's a good feeling. So ultimately, I'm pro alliances. I think they should up the rewards, or they should at least have occasional good weeks or seasons of rewards, even if it's not consistent, so that the low rewards don't lead to apathy, because I can see that happening over time. But for the time being, it's all I don't know. It's all positive word. Pick one. Grapes. It's all grapes. I like grapes.
Grapes are good.
Thank you. Any other alliance thoughts before we move on to leagues?
All good here.
I'm good.
All right. Leagues just kicked off the day we started recording. How's your league going? What are you thinking of your league? Where are we?
Well, league's pretty fresh, I'll be honest, I haven't gotten the time to check out leagues right now real quick, really, because I'm in a super lucky situation. My sister is here from the States. She came here to Germany. I haven't seen her in 22 years, so...
Oh, shit.
Oh wow.
So super special occasion, but I'm definitely checking out Leagues. I was seeing it. I'll let it go hand in hand with alliances. So, like I said, another new feature for Marvel Snap players to get competitive and, have something to grind out to reap rewards. Like I said, baby steps. We're moving in the right direction.
Mhm.
I think the event's from like the 8th to the 10th, I think, right?
Yep. Just a few days.
Yeah, so if you have your alliances, you have the chance to like grind out those rewards. It's an awesome way for people to grab free rewards. Of course, they might get pushed in the corner and be like, "Hey, if you want these rewards, you have to get competitive." Some people have like random alliances. Some people know each other on the alliances. It depends on how you go about the situation. But like I
Mhm.
said, haven't got the time to try it out, but I'll definitely grind it out. But like I said, second dinner, GG's. Good that they're going in the right direction just to like get people more interacted in the game and Marvel Snap in general. I think it's like a very healthy step, and we waited a long time for this. It's been rumors for a long time. Then you get those patch notes, you get those roadmaps, and then just get excited. And I'm happy that it's finally here and that we have something to look forward to, and like have like a good feeling on the inside, so that Marvel Snap won't be leaving anytime soon. Because we're getting all these cool new features and new ideas, and it's fresh and it feels like a new game in some ways. Getting a card every week, alliances, leagues, and yeah, I'm down. So yeah, super excited. It's definitely a cool idea.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I have some people in my Discord that have been playing it and having fun with it, trying to climb. I haven't been able to test it out, and I'm probably not really gonna pay attention to it. Honestly, it's just not really for me. I'm not someone who like grinds a bunch or plays a bunch of games. So I'm again, it's hard enough for me to try and get the full bounty rewards in the alliance. So I don't even plan to really pay attention to the league if I have a couple days where I end up like scoring well and getting stuff great, but it's not for me. But that's okay because it is for some people, and some people are really enjoying it. So if you enjoy it, great. If you don't, it's fine. You're not missing out on too much. The rewards, it's like right now, it looks like there's some borders and some boosters and like mystery variants, and then like a Deadpool emote. So I don't feel like I'm going to be missing out on much. So it's only good, right? If you care about it, great. If you don't, that's fine.
Yeah, I think I don't care about leagues at all. I'm gonna keep playing the game the same exact way I am. Whatever I end up with is whatever. If you are last place, you get 35 boosters. Do you know what happens if there was no leagues? Nobody gets anything.
Yeah, you don't get
So
diddly squat.
it's a net positive for everyone, no matter what. And I alluded to it earlier about someone being angry. I had a friend of mine that was complaining about the leagues going on now. Like, oh, this is BS. Like, I can't believe it. Like, I don't like this at all. It's not for me. I'm like, why? He's like, well, it's just not fair. Somebody who doesn't have a job can grind this all day. And I was like, but having a job is pretty cool too, right? Like people without jobs probably need a win right now, and that Deadpool emote just might get them through the next day, and that's okay. If anybody is down for it and they want to grind it, like I'm so glad this is here for them, and I cannot wait to see those Deadpool emotes because there's only 3 emotes given out per alliance. That's 10% of players that are going to receive that emote, and it's just going to be so cool whenever somebody can pop that emote out, and I just know for a fact that they won their league. That's a really cool and a cool way for them to show that they won their league. Like it's so nice. Just again, free stuff where if you want to engage with it, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You just keep doing what you're doing every other day anyways, and you're going to at least receive 35 credits.
Boosters.
It's
Sorry,
better than nothing.
boosters. But it's just better. Yeah, it's better than nothing.
Yep. I like tournaments. I don't really care about leagues. Leagues involve just grinding. I just looked at my league while we were talking, and someone's already at like 4,000 points.
Yeah.
I'm at like 250. Okay, like I've been doing things, right? Like the kid was awake. We played some Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Like it's
Awesome.
just I don't know if I like the game yet, but whatever. Still good time spending time with him, right? But like homeboy is at, or homegirl, home person is at 4,000 and I'm at 250. I'm not chasing that. Have fun being first. So I don't know. Like, it feels like this is not going to be for me. I think competitive Marvel Snap is tournaments, not leagues, at least in my personal opinion. But there are people who are going to like this, and I hope they really enjoy it. I hope they get some interested so that they do things like tournaments, because I think tournaments are like where real high level Snap is.
Yeah, for sure.
Any other Snap news thoughts? Or are we ready for the major topic?
I got one little thing I'd like to talk about. I heard this brought up, and I cannot remember for the life of me which podcast it was brought up on, but the subject came up talking about recent changes about the 25 credits that are given. You have to log on 3 times a day to get 75 credits total. But someone had talked about how if those could stack, that would be really cool. So if you want statistics about anything, especially monetary value of what our resources are, where do you go at in the Marvel Snap community?
I asked Lauren Woodevs.
Lauren Woodevs.
That's it, Lauren Woodevs. So I went straight to the source.
Yeah.
I talked to Lauren Woodevs. I did a little math crunching myself. For 1 week, if those credits stack up, it would be 575 credits, roughly $6 worth of value. It's actually $5.62. And in 1 month, you would get 2,100 credits, which is roughly $20.52 worth of credit. I don't know where Second Dinner would want to draw the line. I could see, not letting it just stack up for forever. But could you imagine if you were a player that took a break and you wanted a little incentive to come back to the game, being able to log in and get $20 worth of credits, just like, hey, thanks for coming back. These stayed here for you, ready to kick you off and push you back in the right direction. Like, it just seems like a really cool way to help incentivize players to come back.
That defeats the whole purpose of
Yes.
spreading it out. They
It
have
does.
it there so people log on every 8 hours. That's
So
Right.
here's my pushback against that. What players are credit hungry? Do you
Free-to-play
care
players.
about credits that much, Doc D? I know for me, I
I
get up
do.
to 10,000 all the time, and I'm like, oh, I need to
I
go
don't.
upgrade
I
some
am
water.
I never have many. I'm
Never.
happy to log on.
Oh
and
man,
I'm always credit hungry. So
I feel like
bored of the game.
I'm always using my credits, but it's those new players. New players are credit hungry because they're
Yeah.
trying to unlock their season, Series 3 cards, Series 2, Pool 1, like all those cards they're trying to unlock. So those are the players that are logging in all the time so they can get their credits, get their next upgrade. Like, I could really care less. If I miss one of my 25 credits, I'm like, oh, whatever, it doesn't really matter to me. But those new players, like, they're just trying to get to their next goal.
Yeah,
don't know.
I think for a new player, it's hard because like when Marvel Snap released for mobile, I got it right away. So back in the day, it's funny to say that now. Back in the day when Marvel Snap released, it was a lot easier to get like Series Complete, Series 3, and then all that Series 4, Series 5 stuff came out. But like you reach that point or that threshold for most players, or at least a lot of people, their collection completely, they have enough resources, or they pay in a little bit of cash. I mean, it's all right. If you love the game, it's a hobby. If you love a hobby, it's something you like to do. It doesn't matter where you put in your cash. If it's either buying bundles or tokens or credits, to grab your cards so you have a collection complete. I understand that, I'm collection complete myself. So it's not that bad if you miss out on a couple of credits because you're like, I got everything, I'm not that credit hungry. But on the other side, it's like 25 credits, 50 credits, it's 1-2 collection levels more. On the other hand, I understand that argument as well. But for people like starting out, new players, yeah, it's a tough sell, yeah. Because
Yeah, I know it doesn't meet
you
their
need
goal
those
at all.
credits.
They obviously
Yeah.
want the people logging in, but I just think
Yeah.
it'd be such a cool way to pool some credits and just incentivize people to come back.
Yeah,
to the
for
game.
sure.
It wouldn't be the
Like-
75 rate though. They would lower it back if 'cause
Sure.
the whole reason it got
What-
boosted to 75
Yeah,
is
whatever they
because of
did, I
the
just think it would be
login.
very cool if it's stacked to a certain point to just help. And they talk about all the time, like, how do you help players get back into the game after you take a
Well,
break?
they
Like,
don't talk
come in-
about it. We talk about it. They don't.
Yeah.
seem
Yeah,
to
we
give a
talk about it.
They
I
seem
didn't
to
even-
have
I
no
didn't even-
concern
I didn't-
about this.
I didn't even notice those 25 credits at the start. I didn't even notice that. That like totally flew by me. So I logged in and then, okay, let me get my credits. And then sometime in the day, I logged back into Snap, wanted to play a few rounds, and I had that like red symbol. I'm like, huh? Wait a minute. Then I like thought, didn't I get those credits
Collected
already? I was
already,
like, this is a bug. And then I looked at it, I'm like 25. I'm like, huh? What? What happened?
Yeah, I really like it. I'm very excited every 8 hours to make sure I collect my credits on Q.
Yeah, I
That
stay up.
75 is big for me. It's big for me, even
If I
though
want,
I'm not
if
a
I
new
want to go to
player.
sleep at 10:45, I stay up for the extra 15 minutes to make sure that I can grab those credits. Like, no doubt, it is a priority for me, even though like I have everything and I'm collection complete.
So
like,
on,
but
on
hang
that
on,
note,
wait, hang on.
go
This
ahead.
isn't for people who are collection complete, though, right? Like, we already spent money, otherwise we
Yeah.
couldn't be collection complete. This is
Yeah.
like to get players who aren't collection complete to play more, because if you play more, you'll get more invested. And if you're more invested, you're more likely to spend. That's all this is. That's what the same reason that like alliances are so grindy right now, right? They're saying, hey, let's get more people invested so we have more spenders and make more money. Like, I'm ultimately completely fine with that. If your way of getting me to spend and give me more stuff is make me play more, I'm fine with that. Like, rather than just increase the monetization in the ways they have in the past, I much prefer this option.
Yeah. I mean, they have to make their money somehow, you know.
Yeah.
How they go about it, that's their thing. We have no choice. We have to accept it as it is. But, you know, it's been worse. It's getting better. So they have to survive. And I definitely don't want Marvel Snap to be one of those games where, like, you invest a whole lot of cash, you invest a whole lot of time. You know, some people live from it, you know, have jobs, content creator, Marvel Snap content creator. If that would disappear, like, from one day to the next, that would, like, suck. So,
Yeah, I
But,
think
yeah.
overall though, I think it's overall like a kind of a net neutral for me. I would say 50% of the time, maybe even higher, I get my 50 credits a day.
Mm.
25% of the time, I get 75 credits in a day, and then 25% of the time, I get 20 or I get 75. Excuse
So-
me.
But
get
that's
25.
the exact same thing it was before. You're getting 50 credits a day, which
Yep.
is what you were getting before. So it's perfectly
Exactly,
fine.
right? So some days
Yeah.
I get 75, some every once in a while I get 25, but most of the time I'm at least getting 50.
So yeah, that's totally fine. I've missed since I started playing, I think, one mission. Like, there was one mission that I thought I had cleared and I didn't, and when it rolled over, I was full. I missed it. I'll eventually miss more, right? Like, I don't actually need this shit, but I do my very best to not miss anything. Also notable, Marvel Snap can't die because then both It's Guest Gaming and Tucker would have to get real jobs and go back to like pillaging villages and like eating children at
Yeah.
the top of their beanstalk, and that's not good for anybody.
Yeah, they're too tall for the other workforce.
Yeah. All right.
We invested too much time for this to go away. This is here to stay, and
So-
it's
it's not
Marvel,
going anywhere.
so
They
so
keep
Marvel's
getting
not going anywhere anytime soon.
like, look, Marvel Strike Force has lasted 70 years. Marvel Future Fight is fucking here forever. Like, Snap's not going anywhere. What I really don't want is I don't want in-game ads. If I have to
Oh
play
my
a game
God.
and watch a 30-second ad and to play another game, I'm going to be pissed. That would
Imagine
really
imagine
piss.
like an ad popping up like mid-turn, like it's like turn 6. You're putting down your turn, and then you have like
Nah, it
an
would have
ad
to be between
popping up
games
that
or
goes like 1
the queue.
minute, and you can't
I-
miss and you can't play your turn.
I already get annoyed whenever I have to open caches, and I timed it today. It takes an average of 7 seconds per cache for me to open them at work.
Whoa.
Well,
So
that's clearly.
That's long, 7 seconds, man.
I mean, that's how long it took the Phoenix Suns to shoot a 3-pointer. So I don't know what you're complaining about. No one knows what the fuck I'm talking about. It's okay. Someone out there gets it.
Damn. Yeah, I get it.
Do you? Thank you. All right. Let us talk about some cards for the season. It is a brand new season. It is Young Avengers season, the thematically best season Marvel Snap has ever done. I know everyone automatically agrees with that statement. This is Kate Bishop Hawkeye. She is a 2/3. I'm going to run us through all the arrows before we go on. She's a 2/3. On reveal, add 2 arrows to your hand. She creates the following arrows. She creates the basic arrow, which is a 1/1, which is Hawkeye's text. If you play a card at this location next turn, +3 power. A 1/1, which is the Pym arrow, which is Ant-Man's old text. If you fill the location, +3 power. That one's so much worse than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Grapple arrow, on reveal, after you play your next card, move to this location. And the OP arrow, Acid arrow, on 1, -2, on reveal, switch sides. So let's talk some Kate Bishop.
Oof, I'm ready.
Oh man. Kate Bishop,
Please.
really good season pass card. I really like Kate Bishop. She's so versatile. Through the arrows alone, like I couldn't say, I didn't make no teaser announcements yet. I have a couple of decks I tested with her. I'm definitely dropping something
What? Black
tomorrow.
Dama has new decks? No way.
Yeah. I definitely have some. I'm just picky. I'm just picky which one I wanna put out. But yeah, Kate Bishop, a very versatile card, very refreshing, something new. You can deck build so many. You can go so many ways with her, and those are the cards in Marvel Snap that are like really awesome. Where you're not like limited to one archetype, where you can be like, man, I can try to build something with this with Kate Bishop. The arrows give it like that versatility, especially like if you like try to go for like double unrevealed stuff. And wow, like it's a good card. I have nothing bad to say. I hope she doesn't get nerfed in some type of way, but I'm pretty sure one of the arrows
Oh,
is
she's
gonna get
getting
hit.
nerfed.
She's getting hit, yeah, definitely. But they're gonna wait. They're gonna do the second dinner tactic. Let the card get hyped, let a couple people buy the season pass, and then when we're not expecting it, or but we already know how it goes, some OTA, one of the arrows is definitely getting adjusted, it's sad, so yeah, we have to run with it as long as possible. But yeah, in general, I think it's a very, very good and very strong season pass card since a while, yeah. So for people to catch on that, it's awesome. I like the card a lot.
Yeah, I agree. She's definitely a strong season pass card and very fun. You know, she's doing multiple things. Sometimes season pass cards, and I get it if they seem kind of like boring. They do have to work for newer players in maybe earlier series and stuff. But sometimes I do feel they're kind of like bland in their abilities. But Kate Bishop, you know, she's doing multiple things. You play her, she's adding stuff to your hand, and then there's the RNG element, so it's different every time. This is what makes something like Iron Lad kind of fun. You know, it's just doing something different. And before she came out, you know, we all knew that three of the arrows are pretty similar. Grapple arrow, it's kind of hard to take advantage of its tech. You know, there'll be times you can move stuff, but oftentimes like those are power, and the acid arrow is the most unique. And when I was just playing with Kate, and I haven't played her too much. I've been playing a bit more Marvel Boy, but basically every time I was hoping I would get the acid arrow. And so when I wouldn't get it, I'd be like, dang it, I didn't get the acid arrow. And then I would just use the other ones interchangeably, pretty much. You know, the other ones are basically just stats. And so, you know, it's kind of weird. Like three of the arrows similar, and then the acid arrow is just like the fan favorite that you just want to get because it just seems super good. But yeah, she's a good card. Versatile, fun. Should see a bunch of play. So I think she's a pretty solid season pass card.
I think you two knocked it out with your explanation of this. This is exactly what I like to see in a season pass card. It, I don't think anybody's yet said like this card's broken. This isn't like a Miss Marvel who like really changed the format, right? I
Yeah.
think
Oh dear.
Hawkeye is good, right? There may see some adjustments on it, but like it hasn't been like, oh my god, this card's so like meta warping. And it is very viable to new players. You got new players that have Devil Dinosaur in their deck, right? This goes directly into that new player deck. Very popular new player deck. You obviously can play some of those cards out early, but like, man, this card just fits in so many places, right? So it's so cool because there are season pass cards that come out, and if a new player opens, they're like, "What the heck am I going to do with this?" Right? So my best friend just started playing, and I had him buy the season pass last card, but like, Winpool doesn't do a whole lot for him. But Hawkeye is going to be able to go in every deck that he wants to put it in, right? It's just it's an amazing card, and I really enjoy seeing this type of season pass card.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be every bit as meta warping as Ms. Marvel. Just for the record, like every bit
Sure.
as meta warping.
I don't
We're
agree,
going to
but that's
see
okay.
we're going to see a million junk decks and a million move decks. This is like insanely strong with dagger vulture type cards that can get big after one move, and it's insanely strong with clog synergies, like crazy strong. I think that this is like Ms. Marvel. You know what wasn't broken immediately upon release? Ms. Marvel. It took like quite a few weeks for us to actually figure out what to do. It took W
Yeah.
really like to like put it together, right? This is, I think, we're already on the right track toward completely breaking this card, and I don't think we're super far. I think that this is going to end up a genuine nightmare of a card down the line. I think it's unbelievably good, and you should get it. And I think even after nerf, it's going to be very good. But I honestly think this is the best like value to drop in the game for the sheer versatility it adds. I think it's like it's okay. It's better than Jeff, and I'm not sure they should genuinely be releasing cards that are better than Jeff.
It's definitely a contender for one of the best 2-drops in the game. That's a fact. And I think a lot of people might consider it a little bit broken because the arrows, they can be toxic sometimes. But I think a lot of people are also scared because they know the card's good. So yeah, let me not go on Twitter, or sorry, X, and rant how
No,
good
Twitter.
or how
And this
strong the
podcast is
card
Twitter.
is, because the more the traction it gets, the higher or the faster the card's gonna get adjusted. So people are just trying to be on the down, like, yeah, this card's good, but let's not call it out too much how good this card is, or else it'll get changed immediately.
So everyone is playing this, right? Like the whole top of the Infinite leaderboard is playing this in various formats. And as always, that's just going to spread with time. Like this card
Yeah.
is like, there's a 1-2 clog is insane.
I do think that needs to be a 1-0.
Yeah, it needs to be something
Just
else.
eating
because,
a spot on their board is so
even
beneficial.
then, I think it's still broken. I don't even care if
Right?
it's negative. It's that it goes to their side that makes it so strong.
Yeah.
Like, if that's 1 and Titania's 1 and Ravonna is 2, not Ravonna, excuse
Or-
me, White Widow is 2, I can take up 3 places on your board.
Or just be
I
like
could-
super
I could even
fast.
see it-
4 energy.
I can
Yeah.
even see it being go to your opponent's side of the board and merge with something, right? So if there's
Sure.
nothing there, it
Sure.
eats a spot. If there are other things
So-
there, then it gives a card -2, something like that.
But 1-2 is insane. Woody's deck is running Ravonna with that, with goblins. And then, like, you just also have Dagger, and, like, you've clogged a lane, right? Like, if you can move Dagger twice, you now have 24 power in a different lane from, like, 3 energy, 4 energy.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like,
and you have
it's
and you have
crazy.
you have the grapple arrow, you have White Widow, and you have the grapple arrow, White Widow, and not White Widow, Ghost Spider, and Iron Fist to do it. And if you get any 2, you're set. Even if you get 1 and you just get a 12-point dagger, not in the clog lane, right? You just spent 2 or 3 energy on a 12. You drop a Sage there too.
Yeah.
That's this card's gonna be like thought of as completely broken. It's not obviously broken. Largely, I think, because 2 of the arrows are basically duds. Like, the Hawkeye arrow is bad. Like, it's actively a bad card. And the Ant-Man arrow is fine, but it's harder to use than you think because it forces you to commit in lanes where you might just be like, I'm fine with 3 cards here. Right? Like, but you need that extra 4, so now you're stuck playing an extra card, and, like, it gets a little clunky. But outside
Yeah.
of that, like those 2 arrows are basically duds, but the other 2 arrows are insane. Like, just, like, genuinely super crazy. And you still just have a 2/3 body sitting there, and there's nothing wrong with that 2/3 body.
Yeah,
really
she has
good.
very high value. Especially the
Yeah.
acid arrow. The acid arrow is like the most busted one out of all the arrows. Just like, even if like you start a game of Marvel Snap, you know, turn 1 location, turn 2 Bar Sinister, you got the arrow and you just send it over like immediately. Like, okay, that lane's dead now.
I mean, look,
Like immediately for a 1 cost.
it's 2/3 50% of the time generate the best 1 cost in the game.
Yeah.
Like, I thought this was going to be great. I thought it was compete with Jeff, and it has genuinely blown away my expectations. How it's got no real downside. Like, its downside is very good. Its downside is slightly worse than Jeff. Like, its downside is it's giving you like 411 stats. And its
Yeah.
upside is I just did something completely unfair. You can't win.
Yep. Black
I
Widow and then White Widow and then Acid Arrow. It's
Yeah.
like
Yep.
2-3 turns and you're already clogging a lane so hard, and then yeah, it's good. Let's just leave it at it's a good card. Kate Bishop's a very good card.
No one's playing with debris yet. Wait for the debris to start coming out.
Oh,
So just for the record, we're about to enter an Annihilus meta. So, like, mentally prepare yourself for Annihilus to come back to deal with all this bullshit. Because,
Yep.
like, Annihilus is totally coming back to deal with all this bullshit. It is a really, really good answer to all of the nonsense. it also screws up the dagger play. It does all sorts of good things for you. But that's not yet. That's down the line.
Yep.
First, everyone has to get to the good Hawkeye decks for people to have to answer the good Hawkeye decks, and that's where we'll be.
So
Oh, shit.
same old.
Yeah. Also, I need to issue an apology. Roy was right and I was wrong. New Loki is great. He said it last week. I was just genuinely wrong. I thought it would be like a dead card. I thought it was going to be amazing in Arishem. I thought it was better in Arishem. It is in fact better in Arishem. I thought it would, like, I thought they killed Loki decks, which they did, but they didn't kill Loki index. And Loki just in good shit is crazy. Top players, Ava, Sizer, Barzy, Derek, are just randomly sending me decks. And, like, it's just like, what's this deck? It's, I don't know, good cards, tech, and then Loki. And it's just like, oh, cool. That's, I don't know if that's healthy. And for now, it's at least super fun, but Loki is great. It's,
I mean, it's going to be good and
near as good as he was, though.
It's going to be good in any like mid-range mirror or mid-range meta, right? Because if they're just playing good cards, you're also going to get good cards. That draw on it is what breaks it, man.
Yeah.
It has to have the draw, though.
I mean, it does, but I'm just saying, like, that's what makes the difference. If it didn't have the draw, it would just be maybe okay. I don't even know if it played really. That draw makes such a big difference.
So, like,
it hurt. I really liked Loki a lot. You know, I invested so many splits. You know, got a black and white, green border, rainbow crackle, and it was always like that's what I always liked about Loki, because when you look at the cards from your opponent, like your entire hand had the entire split, so you like have mono, Kirby Crackle, Rainbow, and then just play their cards and like kick their butt with their own cards and have the Kirby Crackle effect. Like, yeah, you still have it, but it's like not as flashy as before.
All right. Doctor, anything to add to this one? No? Let us move on, because we just spent a long time on that first card. It is Marvel Boy. Marvel Boy is also out. Not speculative. 3/2. After each turn, give 3 of your 1-cost cards plus 1 power. Black Dom?
Yeah, Marvel Boy, very good. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of Zoo decks coming back. Marvel Boy makes it possible. I think for Marvel Boy, also for a 3-cost, very decent. I think the effect is, it can be very cracked if you're like running a 1-cost deck. Of course, you know, Squirrel Girls type stuff, or even like going like the lockdown lane with Nebula and maybe another 1-cost, and just like buffing power constantly. Like, even if you like open a location like Sinister London and get like a second one, and you have a lot of 1-cost laying around, like buffs the entire board. I've had that a couple of times. It's a good card. Might get a nerf, I'm not sure, but it's too early to tell. But for starters, pretty decent.
Yeah, I've also been liking Marvel Boy. I've been playing him more than Kate Bishop just because I kind of like the style, and he's surprisingly. I thought he'd be kind of just tied to Zoo and very niche, but I've kind of just been sliding in Squirrel Girl and Marvel Boy to like some random decks, and I've been liking it. It's nice. Sometimes a lot of cheap decks or like Zoo style, you can have trouble in like closed off locations. Like you just don't have big powered stuff that can like move in or add power to locations that get closed early, or if someone's playing Storm. And I've already had times where Marvel Boy has just kept pumping power like each turn to these locations that were really hard to get to. Like even just adding power to a squirrel, you know, it really kind of adds value. Where Zoo decks often are really limited by hard to plan locations because you lose some board space. So just kind of being able to, you know, be flexible in that way. And yeah, he's been fun. It's hard to tell sometimes. I think it's nice actually, and I don't know if he ever will get nerfed. Like I think of when Sage gets really big, right? You see Sage come down. You're like, oh my God, like that's a 3/14. Like that shouldn't be allowed. You know, like you just see this body of 14. But then all games with Marvel Boy. And at the end of the game, I'm like, okay, well, Marvel Boy's sitting there as a 3/2, but wait, when did I play him? How much power did he add? And then I count the other cards. And it turns out Marvel Boy was a 3/14, but you don't see it on the board. It's spread out. So not only functionally is that really good, right? Obviously, you know, you lose all of Sage's 14 power to Shang-Chi or Shadow King. Marvel Boy, you don't. But just visually, I had to like go check after. I'm like, wait a minute, I think Marboy just wanted me this game, but I wasn't sure right away. Visually, it's not overwhelmingly strong, so I think players aren't going to hate it as much because visually you don't realize that you just lost to your opponent's 3-cost card. So I think it's really cool, and yeah, I think it's an awesome card.
Yeah, I mean, I am loving this card, not because I have played with it. I do what Aaron always talks about, and if you're unsure about a card, because I unfortunately do not have the resources to keep myself current, is I'm waiting till Monday. Waiting till Monday till Aaron says yay or nay if I should get this card. But tell you what, the best thing to do whenever a new card comes out is counter that thing. And I've been playing some Saratech, and I tell you what, Killmonger and Shadow King, oh boy, did they do some work on these cards. Throwing a little, Invisible Woman or some Ghost in there, man, just farming those players.
Yeah, if you get rid of the Kayer and have a Killmonger, it's a bad day for those Marvel Boy decks for sure.
Throwing that Enchantress in there, just getting it.
Yep. Killmonger's GG's.
Okay, Zoo decks are obvious. I'm not going to talk about Zoo decks because, duh, we get it, right? He's becoming a package card where if you run basically a 1-drop, Kitty Pryde seems like a reasonable example, Squirrel Girl, Kate Bishop, Marvel Boy, and Mockingbird, you have a little package. Right? If you can stick that, and that's 4 or 5 cards, right? I'd have to count, because I'm running Thien in them, so, and then you're running Thien Angela, you have, a deck, but you have half a deck, and then you're figuring out what you want to do. You can still run a Darkhawk package, you can run a Ravonna Iron Man thing, whatever you want. Run a Loki package, a Move package, whatever. That's really powerful. I think that's genuinely legit, and I think that's where we're going to end up. In Marvel Snap, where we always start as we say, this is an archetype card, and then as time passes, we go, this is a package I can put into different archetypes. And I think we're traveling there quickly with Marvel Boy just because he's so much power. 314 is a ton, right? That's a top end Sage. That's oh my god, Sage. And you get that just by playing 2 cards on curve. That's really amazing. I think outside of Surfer, he's the most, and nope, outside of Surfer, he's the most points you get for 3, and Werewolf, excuse me. The most points you get for 3 without bouncing it or doing something silly and extra. So he's, given that level of power, he's gonna be a package card. And when he's a package card, that keeps Killmonger in the meta, but now are you decks that can't run Killmonger? This is a really powerful thing to do. If they are running Killmonger, we start to figure out counters and we end up in a different place. Because it has to be Killmonger because this is going to spread power out, so Shadow King's not going to be as valuable. It's a really, really, really intensely good card. I want to see how viable that package is long term, but because it's as much power as Hitmonkey, sorry, not Hitmonkey, it's more power than Hitmonkey. Because it's as much power, by playing 2 cards, it's as much power as Hitmonkey at the end of the game. So I think that reasonably likely means that it's going to be very good. Because Surfer is always very good, and Werewolf, as long as the meta isn't all clog, is very, very good. So my assumption is Marvel Boy 2.
You know the secret in Saratech?
Hmm?
It's Grandmaster.
Yeah, Grandmaster's amazing. Good card. Grandmaster is very good right now.
Run some good ongoings in there. Yeah.
Very good.
I keep waiting for the Marvel Boy Destroy.
Yeah.
Whatchamacallit. You're happy to even destroy things that you've pumped up, right? Because that's just null power. And anytime it hits Deadpool, you're doubling that. And X-23, you're just happy for, right? I'm waiting for it.
I think the one thing that kind of keeps Marvel Boy in check right now is the earlier you play it, the better. It's a really bad draw on turn 6. Not awful, right? Because you're getting 3-5 worth of stats, but obviously playing it early makes a big difference.
If you draw it on turn 6, you just drew fundamentally a Nocturne, just slightly different placement. Still awesome. You're not too sad.
You just drew any card that was released this past seasons. 3-5 is the new go-to stat line.
Yeah, it's the new vanilla stat line now.
Can they
once again
buff Cyclops to 3-5? Fucking please.
Wow.
Please.
I need a little love. On that
just
realm
Cyclops.
right there.
Make Cyclops a 3-5 and I'll be happy.
Can we please get High Evo some love? I can't even justify telling
Well,
new players
They
they need
made
to get
High
High
Evo
Evo
a
anymore.
4-6. It's still a completely unplayable card, but they made him a
Right.
4-6.
Yep.
I think they just need to blank put in one more vanilla card into the here. Every player, vanilla card going into pool 1, available for new players.
Yep.
All right. Let's talk this week's spotlight cards. We're going to talk about Blob and Red Hulk. Dama, how good do you think Blob and Red Hulk are right now?
Well, Blob, since the Arsham change, or you mean just the variants in general?
No, not the variants, the cards. I don't know.
Okay,
The
yeah,
variants
so
are just here because this is, I don't know, more
yeah, the
visually
variants are just
interesting.
here because they're here. People
Yeah.
don't invest in variants if you don't have the resources.
If you don't have all the cards, don't get the variants.
Yeah, definitely not. Well, so Blob's still a strong card in Arsham decks. Okay, I mean he got adjusted, but I mean it's still a strong card. If you know your way around Marvel Snap, you can play around the card. But I still prefer Red Hulk over Blob, just because Red Hulk is just always mind games from the start. Because okay, Blob, you can draw him late, you can draw him early. Sometimes Blob's not your main game plan. So usually Red Hulk is always I like to put him in my decks because he's always a fallback backup plan, and he's still good even though he got nerfed a little bit. But it's still a good card because if your opponent even just skips just one power, he's growing. I mean, your opponent can see it, it's all fine and good. He knows that it's there, or when you see it, the threat's there. It's always a bad feeling because you're man, this Red Hulk from my opponent, he's getting pretty big. I know I got 2 lanes down, but when it comes down to it, he's gonna drop that Red Hulk. If you don't have that prio, then you're in a bad position. So if I had to choose, I'd say Red Hulk's in a better position. But they're both great 6 costs. But for the current meta, I think Red Hulk is the better choice to put in your decks. If you like Red Hulk, if you have him, if you like to run him over Blob. But of course, you have hardcore Arsham Troopers, so of course Blob fits in there better. So yeah, I think it's more of a personal preference type of thing. But for the current meta, I think Red Hulk is definitely the winner.
Yeah, I think you summed it up well. Red Hulk for me is probably one of the best cards in all of the spotlight weeks this season to go after if you don't own him already. He's just so good in general. Like Black Dominant said, in Arishem, you're gonna play Blob. If you're not playing Arishem, you're probably not playing Blob. And so in terms of the value that a card can add to your collection or the play that you can get out of it, unless you're just playing one single deck all the time, you're probably going to get a lot more play out of Red Hulk. And so he's just solid. I definitely think he's worth chasing after if you don't own him. And this variant is awesome. This is an amazing variant. I love it. So definitely a solid week though. I mean, none of these cards are bad to pick up. Marvel Boy is proving to be strong. Red Hulk is strong. Blob is niche, but strong in his niche times when he's in the meta and has a deck. So, pretty solid spotlight week overall.
I think Red Hulk is a card you really want to own if you play 6s at all. Red Hulk is ultimately useless to me. I did get this variant largely because I opened Spotlights and it was the first one. Marvel Boy was number 4 for me. But Red Hulk is a card that you really, really do want to own, assuming you ever play 6s. He is, until further notice, maybe that'll change as we talk about the cards this month, but he is, until further notice, the best in slot 6 drop, and I don't think you want Blob anymore. I think you're perfectly fine playing Arishem without Blob at this point. The nerf really did a number on him. I'd like to see it reverted. I think he's fine if it's reverted, but I think the times he's a 6/13 are just too little to be for the juice to be worth the squeeze. He's cut from most of the top Arishem decks I've seen. He's not worth it anymore.
Yeah, I think right now Blob is just so replaceable in pretty much everything. Big Dumb Idiots is dead. Can't play Blob no more. It was a good card, and honestly, it's not terrible if you do if you don't have it and you get it. I think this week is if you are missing 2 of these cards, I think you're very safe in opening because they're all good cards.
Yeah, it's definitely a good spotlight week.
Right? Like if you don't have Marvel Boy, obviously you wouldn't have Marvel Boy, but if you don't have Red Hulk or Blob and you're opening up, or if you don't have all 3, open these cards up because they're very usable in different places. But Blob right now, it doesn't have a home. I mean, the only home is Airshim, but it's still replaceable there. You don't need it. A lot of, like you said, a lot of people are replacing it with like Magneto, a turn 5 Magneto on a lane with, 2-3 cards in it. You clogging that lane up, but that's even better than a Blob sometimes. So,
All right.
Yeah.
Wiccan. Docty hates this card. 4/7 on reveal. If you spent all your energy this game, +2 max energy. Tom?
Well, so I'm excited for this card because it's the text reads like the card's cracked. Because if you like consider turn 4, you're dropping him on turn 4, so you spent your energy, so it's always a guaranteed +2 energy. And so we're looking at crazy new combos maybe. I'm not sure. It sounds too good on paper. Like, I have to run it, but 4/7 vanilla stat line, I think the effect, it's an on reveal as well. So if you like manage to double trigger it somehow, maybe through an early Wong or something like that, you have insane much of energy, and then you can drop 6 costs on 5 and 6. Maybe if you build a deck to extend it to turn 7, get even crazier. So yeah, I'm excited to try out the card. Definitely. It seems pretty cracked, but I don't want to say it's cracked yet. I want to test it first, see how it goes, see how it shakes up the meta, but it reads insane, definitely, for starters.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty unique card. I'm interested to see what decks come out of it and what sticks. It's pretty new, right? Just be able to get +2 energy. In a sense, it's new. I mean, technically, no cards give you just +2 straight up, but if you play like Sarah and you're getting -1 on 3 cards, I mean, that's technically like 3 extra energy for a turn. But like Black Dama said, like at first you read this, you're like, oh my goodness, like, is this crazy? Like, can you do this? In reality, though, as Glazer mentioned, I've never been hyped on this card from the start. I thought it sucked, but now it's a 4/7. It was a 4/5, last month when we talked about this, and so I thought as a 4/5 it was worse than War Machine because War Machine came out as a 4/6, but now they're both 4/7s, both War Machine and Wiccan, and I think most of the time that's what they are. It's a 4/7. You're gonna play it and you're gonna miss some turns. And now you just played a 4/7. It's like when you play War Machine and you can't get any benefit from a closed off location. So, it looks promising if you're just looking up at the ceiling, the best combos, what the, height of its power is. But then when you look down at the floor, again, it's a vanilla 4/7. It's all or nothing. That's what sucks.
Yeah.
You're either getting +2 or you're getting a vanilla card. And so I kind of look at it like Mr. Negative. You probably want to ramp it out, Zabu or Psylocke, turn 3 Wiccan. Turn 3 Wiccan is good because turn 4 you have 6 energy, and that's great. You've hit that 6 energy threshold on turn 4, and nothing else really does that. But if you just played Wiccan on curve on turn 4, you don't get the benefit until turn 5. Okay, but 6 energy on turn 4 is way better than 7 energy on turn 5. Like 6 is where you can now start playing the Red Hulk or Magneto or whatever.
Yeah.
On turn 5, like Airshim can play the 6 costs already too. So I think Airshim's more consistent. I think you do want to Mr. Negative this. You want to Psylocke or Zabu it. And you have to look at it like, hey, Mr. Negative consistency levels. Like sometimes you get it. When you do, it's great. When you don't, it's still maybe decent just for power if needed, but also let's say you do get the power. Well, now what? I mean, you just played a 1 cost card. You played something on 2. You either ramped Wiccan on 3 or played a 3 cost and Wiccan on 4. So you have like 3 cards in your hand. Depending on how many you had to fill the curve. And now you need your combo that you can spend all this energy. We're going to see times where people get Wiccan out and they get him to trigger and they have too much energy to play their cards because you have to play to make him trigger. So it's kind of a weird spot where you have to play cards to get the ability to play more cards, but then you might just run out of cards. I don't know. I think you're committing so much to 2 energy when you could just play Airshim, which just gives you energy from the start guaranteed. So that's how I see it. I don't think it's going to be super good, but I think as a 4/7, they made his floor better because you're going to see the floor a lot. So I don't think it's going to be the worst thing ever.
So I have.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Gunny. No,
All right,
please.
so I think this card's pure cope, right? I gotta ask why. Why are you doing this? It's so much effort,
No,
and I think
it's a
Docty.
W. It's Wiccan, not Yicken. Wiccan.
I said
What?
Wiccan.
Yeah, but you said why, so like no, it's a W.
So I think Docty nailed it though. This is if you're building a Wiccan deck, you're looking at Mr. Negative consistency, right? It's going to be so in my head. What I see is possibly a deck full of 6-drops, high banging cards. You're going to play them 3 turns in a row, 6-drop on 4, 5, and 6. You're looking to probably do a Quicksilver, which is going to hurt, but Quicksilver into either Psylocke or come on, what is it?
Zabooty.
Zabu, gosh, I couldn't think of that. Anyways, so Psylocke or Zabu into a turn 3 Wiccan, and then after that, you're just popping your 6-drops. That's the only way I really see to play this. And if not, then I just don't know what the best thing I think you could do is the same kind of Zabu plays we would before, which is on turn 6, dropping 2 4-drops that matter, but like what 4-drops actually matter. And it's yeah. I mean, if you miss one turn, what is the location that gives you rocks? You have to skip your turn to make the rocks go away. You just lose every game.
Yeah,
that
collapse
pops
mine
up.
is trouble.
Yeah.
That is bad news.
You just lose.
That is bad news.
If this is what you're if this is what you're building for, then you just lose every game that a collapsed mine comes up. I don't know. So it's just so much work. I think Airshim kind of. I mean, even Electro, right? Electro is just so reliable. Electro wave type stuff. I mean, obviously you can wave this out, but why are you waving this out instead of something better? Like this is a skip week for me.
Yeah, Electro is really reliable. That one extra energy, especially, what I always like to do when I build Electro decks, I'll slot Nico in because if I have Nico turn 1, turn 2, and she has the spell to either destroy or turn into a demon, I'm dropping the Electro on 3. Either he'll go to a demon, but even better, if he gets destroyed, you remove the downside and you get another 2 cards, which is pretty insane, and you have an extra energy.
Yeah.
So I think I figured out what I want to do with this card. It took fucking forever, and it means I have to run stupid goddamn Quicksilver. But the answer I think is a Sarah Miracle list. If you're doing the like Ms. Marvel style Sarah decks, you can afford to run Zabu. They've already run Zabu. You can afford to run Psylocke because Psylocke on 3 into Sarah on 4 is still really strong. And if you can do that into a Wiccan and then you can play Sarah, you've just got a bajillion energy for everything you need. You don't have to play again until the last turn. You just sit there for 2 turns and wait, and then just dominate on the last turn without any threat of taking priority for all your Shangs, Shadow Kings, etc. bullshit. I think that's what I want to do with Wiccan. How consistent that is, I have no goddamn idea. I've never played this card, right? But I do think that's where I would be. So what this card reads like to me, everyone's like, I want to play 6s, I want to play 6s, I want to play 4s. What Zabu did that was so strong was let me play 2 4s at the end of the game. Wiccan does the exact same thing. It lets me play 2 4s at the end of the game. If I can play a so unfortunately there is no Dark, but if I can play a Cull Obsidian alongside a Shang-Chi or Enchantress, I feel like I'm in a really, really great shop. And hey, guess what? I have to run fucking Quicksilver, so at least I know I can get my Cull Obsidian out, basically always, unless I get Shang. There's stuff to like and stuff to do here with that exact combo. Is that consistent? Is that real? I don't know. Like, you tell me. But for the time being, that's where I would be with it. I think it's still a skip until proven otherwise. For me, this feels a lot like a card I was very high on, Supergiant, where like it reads like it's so strong, but like how often are you really using its ability without sort of going all in and selling out?
Yep.
All right. Coming with Wiccan, we already talked about Loki, so we can actually skip Loki for now unless someone has something to add. What do we think about Pixie? Also, Gunny, check the chat. Go ahead.
So, spotlights. So yeah, it's another great spotlight week. I mean, Loki got adjusted, but still a solid 3-5. I was like disappointed at the start, but I ran a couple of Loki decks, and it's not that bad. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. Wiccan, okay, like solid spotlight week. Pixie's a great card. I like to play Pixie because she gives you that RNG randomness. It can go both ways. Either you like drop her on turn 2 and have like combos set up and ready. So especially for people who don't have Pixie, don't have Loki, should definitely, if they have the resources, I suggest you invest. Wiccan's like a wild card, he can be good, he can be not so good. Like, we'll have to wait and see and test it out. But in general, solid lineup for Spotlight Cash this week. I think Loki might find a new home for new Loki decks, maybe. I'm thinking about some stuff. Have to test it out first, though. Yeah, Pixie. I like Pixie. A lot of people don't like Pixie. I don't see a lot of Pixie, but yeah, maybe that will change. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm not super high on this week. I think in terms of what I would prioritize, I have this as like my third, which is also like my second to last. The Wiccan is unknown. Yeah, I don't have high hopes for her. I've been vocal about that, but I could obviously be wrong. Maybe Wiccan's good. We have sorry. Yeah, he might be good. I always mess that up. But we'll have to wait and see, right? We have to wait and see on Wiccan. For Loki, it seems like Loki's still really good, which actually worries me. It makes me think he's going to get nerfed again.
Yep.
Because Second Dinner has basically said, like, okay, we don't want Loki to be different, right? Because they didn't just nerf him, they changed how he works in his deck. They're like, okay, we've changed him. Hopefully he doesn't perform well. And it sounds like he may be performing well, which makes me hesitant to, recommend people chasing after Loki. I'm like, okay, if you're going to go after Loki still, just expect another nerf. Like, whether it happens or not,
4/5
it's
Loki
obviously
again.
it's obviously on the table. Yeah, there's obviously another Loki nerf on the table, whether they make him a 4/5 or take away the initial draw. And so I don't like this week because of that. Even if Loki still right now is strong, I'm worried it's very, very short lived. So I can't really recommend it. And Pixie, I don't think Pixie is a bad card, but like Black Dom alluded to, like, I never play Pixie. Like, Pixie is not for me. It's not my style. Some people it is, and I understand it's fine and it can work. Yeah. But for me, I don't play her at all. So, if you're a Pixie or if you think you enjoy Pixie decks, then go for it. But if you don't, and you're like me and you're worried about another Loki nerf, then there's actually not too much in this cache to help you. So that's just how I see her.
Aaron, I really don't have anything to add. I think our two guests nailed it. Like, if you want some of these, this is almost like a want week, right? If you want some of these cards, if you want Loki, if you want to try Pixie, if you think Wiccan's good, go for it. But if not, I think you could get Loki with tokens.
Yeah. They should just hold on to the resources. Like, you can. It's like a personal preference thing. So yeah.
I don't know. If you don't have the tokens, I think I'd probably go get Loki if I had Arishem. Like, if I have any interest in playing my Arishem decks, I would go get Loki if I didn't have the tokens and use 4 caches. I think it's the best card in Arishem, and Loki in Arishem is the best card in the game. Like, the best single card in a single deck, I think, is Loki in Arishem.
So what do you guys think? What if Loki would get nerfed again or get adjusted again? What the adjustment would be?
3/4 or 4/5.
I think they're going to do something with power cost.
Yeah, probably.
I think you take the card draw away, and I don't know if it's still played.
No, they're not getting rid of the card draw. That's not even, like, that would not be on the table, because then it's like unplayable league, right?
I can even see a 3/3. Crystal is a 3/3 and draws each player card.
This card's not getting nerfed. I don't know why I'm saying that, but I truly believe this card's not getting nerfed. I think they think it's a win that Loki's so good after their change. Like,
I'm very worried about next OTA very soon. We're seeing another Loki change. Yeah, this month.
So we'll know by Thursday of the Wiccan week. So, like, you'll know while it's in spotlights. But no, I don't think Loki's changing. So Loki is one of the most popular Marvel characters in the world because of the MCU. I think they want Loki to be good in their game. I think they want Iron Man to be good in their game. And, like, Loki's a card that they can sell us as a powerful card. I don't see what the downside is for that. And I don't think it's game breaking. I think it's just great. Like, this isn't Thena, right? Like, if they nerf Thena, no one who's new to the game is like, oh man, Thena's my favorite Marvel character. I'm so sad. That she's terrible, right? If you nerf Loki, people come into a game like Marvel Snap and they're like, I want to play with Loki.
Hashtag nerf Thena.
Meh, just make her a 2-0 and we'll be fine. It's not that good. Or she's that good,
Yeah.
but like she's not the strongest thing, or she's never really been the strongest thing for more than a
I
few
think
days.
always the most annoying part when playing Thena decks is like, all right, so if you play around Thena, if Thena's like one of your win conditions, like, and you have like a decent hand, let's say you have like more energy or your cards are discounted or something, you're like, man, I could do this and this and that, but you're trying to invest into your Athena too much, and you have to like limit yourself to just play 2 cards. I mean, you don't have to, but it's like in your mind, like where you like automatically just try to play 2 cards, even though you could have played 3 or 4 sometimes.
Yeah, agreed. Like I think Athena is great, right? But like, I don't know, she's mid-range great, and I genuinely don't care when cards are mid-range great as a general rule. I'm fine with mid-range great cards. Like I
Yeah.
wish the game had more mid-range great stuff and less like 40 power stuff.
Yep.
Alright. Speed. 3/3, ongoing. +1 power for each turn in which you spent all your energy.
Yeah, like goes hand in hand with Wiccan maybe, so you can maybe see Wiccan speed decks 3/3. We'll maybe get some new Silver Surfer decks. It's hard. I haven't found the right home for speed in my head yet, but yeah, it's like also one of those cards, it could be good. I'm not too hyped about it. It could suck. It depends on what the meta, what people come up with, or what we all come up with. It's just like Wiccan. It's like it's too early. I can't like pinpoint and say like, yeah, this card's gonna be great. We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, I don't know if I'd invest. If you're like short on resources, I don't know if it's smart to invest in the card yet, because it's like okay, it's an ongoing yet. Yeah, if you want to, you can make this card work. Definitely buff it up, or you know, on occasion you can buff this card, because usually you're spending all your energy. In some cases you'll have 1 energy left, but you're mostly getting rid of all of your energy, because you have a game plan for the cards that you have in your deck for the deck that you're running. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'm not too hyped about it. I think he'll be okay, but yeah, I'll eat my own words when a card drops and someone thinks of something crazy, and then the card's like everywhere. But like, yeah, just wait and see. I'm very neutral about speed.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. In terms of my season rankings, I have speed like middle of the pack. He's not flashy, right? He's probably the most boring card I think of the season, and it's nice that he has a range. It's not like Wiccan where it's all or nothing. So I think he's actually fairly flexible. He's going to see a lot more play than Wiccan. I think even if Wiccan's good, it might be set to like 1 or 2 kind of archetypes. But speed not being all or nothing is kind of nice. Maybe on average, he's even like just a 3/7, which doesn't sound crazy, but especially with Cassandra Nova out. But it could end up, he's a 3/7 whether you play him on curve or later, which is also interesting. He's just fairly flexible. So yeah, he might see some play in Surfer, maybe some ongoing. You may have a Surfer where you actually have like big stats threes, like just speed, Cassandra Nova, Gladiator, like just try and play like initial big stat Surfer or something, like less combo stuff. I don't know. But I think he's all right. I don't think he's crazy. I don't think he's horrible, but I actually think it helps out that he looks boring. And I always say that because Second Dinner, when they do buff cards really quickly, sometimes they release a card, or Makari they buffed like the week before she came out, but Hydra Bob got buffed quick, Martyr Gladiator get buffed quick. These cards did not have hype, and people thought they were boring or lame and shouldn't be a Series 5 card. I see that comment all the time, like, oh, this ability shouldn't be Series 5. And I'll do my YouTube polls, and I'll be like, I do it for every new card. I say, are you going to get the new card this week or not? And I remember Makari was like under 10%. People saying they're going to get her. Hydra Bob, same thing. Martyr, same thing. And so even if speed ends up being decent, I feel like if he has no hype and he looks boring and nobody picks him up the first week, Second Dinner is just going to buff him. I feel like if a card has hype, like War Machine, or even if it didn't turn out to be good, people picked it up right away. So Second Dinner's like, now we don't need to buff it right away. So he got buffed like months after. Same thing with Grandmaster. I feel like there's a real case that if no one picks up speed, he actually becomes a 3/4 like really quickly. So I'm really interested to see what happens there. But yeah, I think he's okay. Nothing flashy, but he's nice. He's flexible and just decent.
A conditional? Do you want a conditional 3-9? That's the real question. That's where I think this falls in. Is this is a conditional 3-9? But honestly, it's like a non-conditional 3-7. I say pretty average. You're gonna be able to at least spend all of your energy on about 4 turns. That's very reasonable. And 3-8 is probably not out of the calling either. But conditional 3-9 for sure. Where I do see this fitting in though is I think you touched base on it a little bit there, Docky, was an ongoing deck, right? Think about just straight up new player style ongoing with Spectrum, maybe an Onslaught, right? So this is a 3-15 with Onslaught. You could curve into that pretty nicely, especially if you're not collection complete and you're missing some of the higher, better cards. If grabbing this speed might not be that bad. But I do think the real question is, what does this replace? Does it replace Cassandra Nova that, gives you a 20% chance to have a very high win rate against Erisham? Because that's how, big of the meta it might be at the time. Do you replace a Gladiator who's always a 3-8 and sometimes, beneficial by destroying your opponent's Sarah or whatever the heck they pull out? Are you pulling out Sage, right? That can get, really big. It just matters. Like that's... Whatever, I don't know what comes out for this.
Yeah, well, it's like we'll just have to wait and see. It's like just like Wiccan, it could be, it can be good, it can suck, yeah, but it's like speed is like a middle ground card. I think of course you can put him in, but like you have to do the brain work. Like, okay, where can I make him work? Which card should he replace? Like, yeah, it's like a trial and error pretty much.
They're buffing this card. Like, no one's gonna buy this shit. They're gonna have to buff this. Like, I don't think there's been a card that people have been this low on that hasn't been buffed in a bajillion-ish years, right? Like, I genuinely can't think of any card that hasn't been buffed that was this poorly thought of. So this is gonna get buffed. Is this good? I don't know. Makari was significantly better than I thought. Like, Makari's a good card. So, like, maybe speed is too. It just seems like I don't care about having 9 power on my 3 that much most of the time. Like, 9... Like, Gladiator's 8 was a lot more than all of the other 5s I can play, right? But 9's not that much more than 8. And 8 isn't more than 8, and 7 isn't more than 8, right? Like, and Cassandra Nova is almost always functionally at least a 3-8 if you want to play her. And
that's
like
true.
Shaw is plenty big, and Brood is bigger than this. Like, I'm thinking something like a Jean Grey deck, like a Jean Surfer list, maybe, because then I can use Captain America with this. But I've got to find some like cheap cards to play there because I need ones to fit along the curve to make speed even remotely worth it. And now I'm doing a lot of work, and I don't know if I give a shit enough to. Right?
That's what it really comes down to. How much work are you putting into making it?
I don't think you work to make it a huge. I think you have to be fine with a 7 power. You have to be fine with a 3-7 or a 3-8 when speed gets buffed to be a 3-4. But cool, you have to be fine with that.
But I have those cards, and I don't know where I want more without having to rebuild my whole deck. Like, because everyone keeps saying Surfer, but Surfer runs Nova, and then Forge, and maybe one other 2. That's -2 power right there on speed.
I don't know how many times I've skipped my turn 1 and 2 playing Surfer.
Well, and then on turn 3, you're playing just a 3 sometimes without a 1, 4, right? Like,
on
and now
turn
you're just
4,
like,
turn 4 I play a turn.
And then you just brick yourself.
And
basically.
then if you don't see Sarah on turn 5, right? Like, we're doing a little dance of like, what the fuck? Like, now it's a 3-5 in Surfer. Well,
I mean, obviously, you could line up with your ideal draw of Nova into Forge, into Brood,
but like
into Absorbing Man.
That's
but
the
that's
minority
like
of games,
Christmas
not the majority
Land.
of games, right? Kate Bishop helps this card, right?
Yeah.
So people are going to say this belongs in decks with Wiccan. This does not belong in decks with Wiccan.
Yeah, I agree. This is not Wiccan.
Like, so Wiccan, like, once you have +2 energy, you're just going to waste some sometimes because you have too much energy, right? And now not only are you wasting energy, you're wasting speed. I could see Wiccan. I can see Wiccan more likely being in an evolutionary deck. Wiccan being an evolutionary deck because they run a bunch of 1s and enough 2s, and then you can, you know what I mean? You hit Cyclops, then you hit Wiccan, and like then you're wasting a turn of Cyclops, but you got a 7 power out of it, so like you're kind of okay with it, and then you have all the extra energy you could possibly want for the rest of the game. Seems like I'd rather just run Hope Summers, but what do I know? I don't know. This card is not good. Like, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I can't imagine this card being good.
Yeah, it's not interesting until it gets a buff. Probably.
Yeah. I mean, and it needs to be a 3/5 to start for me to give a shit.
Good God,
I don't think it's bad. It's just not exciting, or it seems worthwhile.
If it was a 3/5,
it's very middle of the road.
It cannot be a 3/5. We cannot just have another 3/5 with upside. Like, that's insane.
I mean, sure,
3/5's a vanilla stat line just for a card. Like, so many 3/5s.
You could also
upside.
make this a 2/3, and then it's a great card.
2/3 seems pretty cool.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I like that.
Like, that's a much better change, I think, than changing its number.
You play Quicksilver and then Speed. Perfect curve.
I mean, you don't. You just play a regular curve of 1-drops in some decks, right? Like,
I mean, I'll take it 2/2. Right?
Yeah.
2/2 plus 6, that's a 2/8.
Yeah, and the card gets busted if they buff it to an ongoing +2 power for each turn, which would
that's
be
never happening.
No,
it's never happening.
Probably not.
But I think 2/2, right? So 2/2 becomes a 2/8. Like, that's damn good stats. That's 2. That's a 2/8 with traditions, right?
It's a Dazzler or the other one, Mojo.
Yeah.
But yeah,
2/2's where
they all
that
require some work. I'm fine with that. I think 2/3. They're trying to sell us this card. They're not going to make it as good as cards they give us for free.
They better
like,
bring
that
card.
Shouldn't be how they do things, but it is.
All right, like but is there any saving grace on this? What else is coming out with it, Aaron?
Jeff and Iron Lad. So I guess we're all going to have speed and just be kind of sad about it.
Yeah, so this actually brings up a very interesting conversation, right? So for the longest time, everybody here has been playing for so long. What was at least uncontested best 2-drop in the game?
Jeff. Athena. Angela.
No. Was forever.
Jeff.
It was Jeff, man. You know, Jeff is still very good, but man, does it have some work to do for the best card in the game now, right? If I don't own Jeff and I own a White Widow instead, I'm all right with that. If I don't own Jeff and I own a bunch of 2-drops that we have now, I'm all right with that. So I don't know if Jeff still holds the throne as a must-own card anymore. What do you think?
I think so. I think Jeff is a must-own card because Jeff is like that jail-free card, that
sure.
He's flexible. You can play him, and it's still. I think he's still top of the notch. Sits on the throne for a 2-cost because he's like so flexible. You can run him in so many different decks, especially like my lockdown stuff that I like to play. Jeff's like always like a main contender. I mean, of course, you can move into those Pro X lanes and stuff like that, but if you're playing an opponent that has nothing that moves, then your lockdown strategy goes as planned as always. And Jeff is like so versatile still. He's been on the throne for a long time, and we all know why, because it's a very, very, very strong 2-cost.
I just argue that there's contention for that 2-cost slot now. Like, Jeff just used to go in everything. Yeah, and now sometimes when you're looking at your 2-drops, you're like, all right, I got to fill out my curve. I got one spot for a 2-drop here because I'm playing Athena and I only want one more or something. Like, what's going in there? Is it Kate Bishop? Is it White Widow? Is it Jeff? Like, those 2-drops are running out of. It's like the 3-drops now, man. I tell you what, the 3-drops are getting hard to choose which one you're going to use. I think that might be the most contested places right now is 2 and 3. Like, you tell me another cost slot that has more contention than 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So
maybe 1 cost, but 2 and 3 are definitely at the top. Yeah, for sure.
So Jeff was almost not completely insane for like 30 whole seconds. First, it was completely needed because Professor X was everywhere, and it was the only card that answered Professor X. And then Dr. Octopus was everywhere. You needed that extra move card. And now Sandman's all over the fucking place. And Jeff's still the only card that gets around Sandman. So, like, you still need Jeff. Like that's it. Like I'm convinced that the way Marvel Snap, outside of Jeff just being insanely strong for his natural ability, that there's always going to be something in the game that is really, really hard to play around. Except Jeff says nothing counters.
You know what? So you all have been playing since release, right? Anybody come in a little bit later, like myself?
I
I've been playing
started
for-
the
Since
Black
release, yeah.
Panther season, so still before Jeff came out. But
Yeah, I've been playing for almost a year now. I think August is whenever I started last year. And I tell you what, Jeff was the hardest card for me to buy with tokens because I was like, I'm buying a 2-3 tokens.
When Jeff was spoiled and the week he came out, everyone was like, Jeff is crazy. Like, this card, it can't be that good. This is just hype because it's cute.
right.
And I was just wrong, right? Like,
Yeah, I still think it's the number one card to get. Like I think it's absolutely worth it. And what Glazer mentioned with how the metas change, what I talked about with Loki is like I personally worry Loki gets nerfed. Like Jeff is never getting nerfed. Okay, we
That's
talked
true.
about if Kate Bishop is overpowered, if the Acid Arrow is too good, you maybe see some nerfs. Maybe Athena at some point see some nerfs. That's not out of question. Jeff is never getting nerfed. If you buy this card, it's a 2/3 that you can play anywhere and move anywhere, and it's going to be like that for every single day you play Marvel Snap forever. Okay, this is always adding value. It stands the test of time. Cards come and go in the meta. Jeff is always there, and I think he's a must-have. So I think this is a great week for anyone who doesn't own Jeff. And they're making a Jeff week, right? They're making a Jeff week.
Yeah.
Jeff Week's coming out.
Yeah, I think this
He's never
spotlight-
getting nerfed.
they're getting a Jeff League.
Yeah.
I think the spotlight week is like sort of like a small teaser for the Jeff week that's coming, maybe. Because if you look
So-
at that Iron Lad variant, man, I really like that one. I like
Yeah,
all the variants.
You push
There's
us
like a
right into our
Storm
next
Jeff
one.
thing,
So
maybe.
if you're not, if you need Jeff and you want to get Jeff, awesome. But if you're still opening, talking about cards I was not happy to open, I bought Iron Lad with tokens around last December, and man, that felt great at the time to buy. That was when Iron Lad was at its heyday. Is Iron Lad still on the top of the throne for a 4-drop and doing work like it used to?
No.
It's not.
but
I don't think you're opening this cash for Iron Lad.
but like ginormous caveat. I think the most important, not the best, but the most important deck in the game right now is the Sandman deck.
Yeah.
And Iron Lad is utterly irreplaceable in that deck.
It's great. And also on that note as well, like Iron Lad, I don't think ever changes. I think on the same note as Jeff, I don't think it ever changes. And Iron Lad has the potential every time a new card pops, like, does this work with Iron Lad?
I mean,
Does this new deck work with Iron Lad?
but,
So I
like,
think it's not a
more
bad
than
card
that.
to own by any means.
Like, they've said they're going to do something with Zebu, and we all know Zebu is still going to do something with 4-drops, right? Like,
That's true.
what
That brings
took-
Iron Lad back more.
Yeah,
Right.
what took Iron Lad out was the Zebu change. Like, the second Zebu was back, Iron Lad was back.
The Sabu change destroyed so many decks.
Look, ultimately, I think it's good to go without for a while. I'm curious what they do. I'm still assuming it's going to be Activate until proven otherwise, because he's in
I think it's
Spotlights
gonna
right around
Activate.
then too. But I think I fully expect this literal instant Zebu is good for Iron Lad to be amazing again. So like I might just go get Iron Lad now.
I think this is a good week. I have this as my number one week to
Yeah.
chase after for the season. I think it's a great week, regardless of how Speed does.
Pre Loki nerf, I had the Loki Pixie one ahead. Because Pixie is really hard to replace on Pixie decks. I don't give a shit about Pixie, but Pixie is really hard to replace on Pixie decks.
Mm-hmm.
Loki is a deck while Jeff and Iron Lad just go in decks.
This is we got one more week to talk about.
Yeah, and then we're gonna rank every card
Yay.
this season. Not
Let's
where
go.
they are, we're not gonna worry about nerfs.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Hulkling is a 6/11, which seems great. At the start of the game, copy the text of a random 6-cost card. And we're all just gonna assume it shows you and not your opponent what 6-cost card you got.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Can I start by asking why?
Drink Bud Dry.
I mean, who's building decks just around random effects?
Arisham.
Sure, I
Agatha.
guess so.
Well,
Like,
I mean, you asked.
I just,
At the wrong
I just feel
time.
like when you build a deck, you want it to do something, right? So I don't know if I want to put a 6/11 that like does something random in my deck. I would rather just like put a Magneto in there if that's the effect I want. Obviously, there's great pop-offs. I mean, you talk about leader with this. It's insane. It's insane to have a 6'11 leader. It's insane to have a 6'11 Doom. But there's times where it just ends up being awful. And I don't know if I'd want to build a deck where my 6-drop, the contention for Red Hulk, or an effect that I actually want, can also be awful.
Let Ember Hulkling copy Agatha Harkness and then play your game.
Oh my god!
Right?
Then
I'm almost
like,
certain
you-
he's not going to copy Agatha.
I think it will.
I think so. I mean,
Can
it's a
Valentina
6
make
cost.
Agatha?
It
Valentina
can
can make,
But
yeah.
Nick Fury cannot.
Which is weird, right? Why can Valentina make her, but Nick Fury can't?
Because Nick Fury is like a 1 in 27 chance, whereas like there's like a because Nick is doing.
Oh, because he's getting
different
3 cards. Okay,
Yeah.
But I think
So-
he'll work like Valentina. I think he'll have the option to copy Agatha, because he could
So-
copy Agatha but be at the
so-
bottom of your deck still.
Hang on, before we go forward, the bad hits: Agatha Harkness, Destroyer, sometimes Heimdall. I guess not.
Infinite.
You just don't play him. Infinite. That's it. Those are the only.
And
bad hits.
Giganto's kind
Giganto.
of
Oh, and
weaker.
Tribunal's not ideal. Giganto's not ideal.
Yeah.
Everything else is more or less. Almost everything else is neutral, and then there's like 4 or
Yeah.
5 like phenomenal hits. But like, I'm not counting Sasquatch or She-Hulk as phenomenal hits, because if you build your deck for that fucking combo, then you would just put Sasquatch or She-Hulk.
Right.
Not hit.
That's what I kind of
Right.
mean is like a lot of the 6-drops are build arounds. So I'm building a deck to put an Onslaught in there. I'm building a deck to put, a Doctor
Yeah.
Doom in there. I don't know if I really want those.
So awesome hits. Ready? Zola, Doom, Galactus is hilarious. Zola, Doom, Galactus, Leader.
Hella. Just kidding.
Yeah, that's it, right? Like that's all the
Even
phenomenal hits.
Zola and Galactus,
I guess
you may
Ultron?
not want sometimes still, even though
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a 6/11.
Well, you're
you
not
may
really
sometimes
like
want
if
that.
you get a Galactus, you just don't. You know what I mean? You play it in a lane with another.
Well, it's a neutral hit. It's not always a
Yeah,
great
yeah,
hit. Is
okay.
the problem?
So okay, the always great hits. Fine. I mean, Doom's not always a great hit either, right? But like,
I think Doom's a great hit. Doom's got to.
Yeah,
be
I
a
think
great hit.
Doom's a great hit. I mean, if you got it early enough, you'd look at it and be like, all right, I'm leaving some spots open for this.
well, Doom, Ultron, and Leader.
Yeah,
Doom,
that's
Ultron,
the big
Leader.
3.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's not a lot of good hits. It's just not a fucking. This card sucks. Why doesn't this copy 5s? There's 50 5s that would make me so excited for this.
I think that was a really good point that you made last time we talked. You said it'd be cool if it was a 6 that copied 5 or 5 that copied 6 ability. And when Hulkling first came out, or when you first got data mined, so it was like months ago, I remember thinking like, man, you can you can get a 6/2 leader with 6/11 now, or you get a 6/8 Alioth with 6/11 now. And then I realized now, I'm like, well, second dinner, whenever 6 costs aren't seeing much play, they give them extra power. I remember Leader getting
Mhm.
more power, Spectrum, Destroyer, Alioth is now 10. Like, so the problem is over time, the whole thing about Hulkling is you want. Sorry if there's super loud sirens, by the way. I don't know what's
It's
going on
okay.
outside me. The thing with Hulkling is you want these cards that or 6 costs and generally have bad power because they've got really good abilities. We said Leader, Doom. But over time, as second dinner raises the floor power of all 6 costs, Hulkling gets worse each single time. Any other 6 cost gets +1 power. Like you either have less power advantage or you're shrinking power more from the card, right? If you copy Giganto, it's actually smaller. So I think long term, they're gonna, if they want him to be playable, even if let's say he is playable at the start, which I'm not sure of, you would have to kind of consistently buff Hulkling's power as you buff the average power of the other 6 costs. It's just a really weird thing. I don't think he's great right now, but long term, I think he just gets worse over time. It's crazy.
So there are 3 6s that are great hits. There are like 24. I just counted 24 5s that this would be an amazing hit with.
We didn't
5s
talk
that if
about
they were
Blob either.
6/11, you
Blob's a
would
good
play.
hit.
Oh,
Yeah,
Blob is a
Blob's-
good hit.
Blob is a good hit. You're right.
All right, so I think
No,
one of
Blob's an
did-
okay hit,
did
right?
one
'Cause
of you just
sometimes
mention
Blob's
this?
gonna just be like, here's an extra 6 power.
Did one of you mention this? If it was a 5 cost, like 5/9 that copied a 6 cost
Yeah.
ability?
Yeah, that was
Either
my
5
pitch
to
is
6
make it
or
a-
6 or 5 was Glazer's thing, and that would be cool.
Yeah. Like think
Yeah.
about like playing a 5/9 Doom. That'd be pretty neat.
Well, if it's a 6 that copies 5s, ready? You get Arrow, You get Ajax, you get Annihilus, you get Black Panther, you get Blink, you get Blue Marvel, you get Cannonball, you get an extra Darkhawk, Devil Dino, Ronin, Gamora, Gilgamesh, Claw, hilariously Kang, Lady Deathstrike, Iron Man, Legion,
Yeah, those all sound great.
Namora, Nimrod for when they shine you.
But is it?
Professor X.
Tell me the bad ones. What are the bad
Cersei.
ones from 5?
There's a whole shit ton that don't do anything.
Okay.
Taskmaster is bad. Valkyrie is
I guess Kang
probably
is kinda
bad. I guess Kang is kind of bad. Red Skull is usually actively pretty
Yeah.
damn bad.
Yeah.
Sarah is a do nothing. MODOK is obviously bad.
Well, it's
Sarah's
turn
gonna do
6. You
nothing.
don't care about
Hobgoblin.
MODOK. MODOK
no,
doesn't
so
matter turn 6.
Hobgoblin
Oh,
is
you're right.
bad.
Yeah.
Full lane, but it could be
Yeah.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would
But,
certainly
like-
be interesting, though. I don't want to play. I don't want to use my 6-drop to play a 6-drop I could already be playing.
And if either way, you change it so that it does the
Yeah.
opposite, like, and it's cool. But right now, like, if you made this a 614, we could start talking, right? But like,
This
it
one
just
might
doesn't
get
have enough
buffed too.
stats
They
to
might
be
buff him
yeah.
soon too. Honestly,
They'll probably buff him before he comes out. Maybe.
No, I think they're gonna leave this stupid card alone because people are excited because Arishem.
Mm.
Yeah, it depends how many people
Arishem
buy
made-
it.
Yeah, Arishem made people excited about this kind of bullshit, even though they shouldn't be because Arishem
Nope.
is a special case.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wait to play Emperor Hulkling when I play Arishem and it's generated randomly for me.
Well, I'm gonna play him in weekend missions in an Arishem deck.
Yeah. The same procedure as every year.
All right, we got Cannonball and Nimrod. Do we actually have to talk about Nimrod? Does anyone give a shit about Nimrod anymore?
Not really.
No, and it's the only Series 4 card of the
Yep.
season, so it's just the
Well-
lowest value card to get like all month.
So, I just had a whole conversation with Ava. Ava still loves Cannonball. Den still loves Cannonball. I keep losing with Cannonball where he is in the meta right now.
Yeah, I haven't played Cannonball ever since the Professor X nerf. So I was like, okay, let's just wait. This card will just like age like fine wine. And at some point in time, when cards get changed, maybe we'll find a new home for him. But I haven't found one yet.
It'll be good again eventually.
Yeah, I'm pretty
If they bring back Galactus, it's like Goliath.
Yeah,
sure. Yep.
No, you would want to lose priority, so it's more like Shang. All right, whatever. Still pretty good.
Mm.
So, yeah, I don't know. Poor Cannonball. All right. Do we have to talk about these? Let's just rank these cards. Ready?
Let's go. Let's rank these
All right, so
cards
I've got
for the
a separate
month.
tab to write down the rankings as we go on, except I need to scroll to the right spot because I wrote a note to myself. All right, so let's just start by comparing the first week, the first two cards, Kate Bishop or Marvel Boy, which is better?
Kate Bishop, definitely.
Yeah, I say Kate Bishop for sure. And not only that, it takes a little special place because it's $10, right?
Yeah,
Not
it's like
$10.
it's a cheap, great card, and the versatility. You know, if you play Marvel Snap a lot, you know the good cards are always those that are very flexible and that you can slot or even create completely new decks. And Kate Bishop is exactly that type of season's pass card. That way alone, you just have to give it to her. Period.
Red Hulk or Marvel Boy?
It's kind of a tough one.
Yeah,
Mm.
no.
I think I'm going to give it to Red Hulk, though, just as a generic good 6-drop. Like, if you're newer to the game, whatever, and you need a good 6-drop, like, Red Hulk can do it.
Yeah, I like the flexibility. I think Red Hulk just sees more play, even if they're about the same level of competitiveness, which hard to know. It's so new, but I would also give the edge to Red Hulk based on flexibility.
Yeah, same. I'll give it to Red Hulk as well, because Red Hulk is also similar to Nebula. I like to call it like a pressure card. It's just a pressure card because it's mind games for your opponent, and it's also just big power. It's like, you know, I don't have to bluff much. You see what I have. And, you know, your opponent skips energy, he gets punished for it, and you have like a super big cost 6-drop that you can play wherever you want to. If you don't have prio, you're like, okay, so if you're dropping this Red Hulk now, he has enough power to win the lane, and probably if your opponent skipped another energy in the final turn, you're giving him another extra energy boost. So, yeah, Red Hulk all day.
I dig that.
Except for 2 weeks, whenever the cards come out directly in a row, Wiccan and Speed, where everybody's trying to use all their energy.
Yeah.
So I think for a little while, Red Hulk's gonna be better. I think Marvel Boy's eventually gonna be better, but I don't like. It's too unknown for me to put. I have Blob below Marvel Boy though. Yes.
Oh yeah, Blob's going down.
Yeah.
Oh, how the Blobby have fallen. All right, so we have Kate Bishop, Red Hulk, Marvel Boy, Blob. Now we are adding Wiccan.
Under Blob.
Sounds right.
Bottom of the barrel.
Can we go ahead and start it at number 13? I'd rather have Nimrod
I don't think
over
Wiccan's gonna
Wiccan.
be at number 13.
I know.
No, but he'll be close.
I'm
Yeah,
just
I think we can leave Nimrod at 13 for now.
Yeah, I think Nimrod is fairly likely to stay
a
at 13.
joke.
But I'm going to argue. Whatever, we'll get there. Loki.
Number 1,
right.
baby.
Is Loki ahead of Kate Bishop?
I think so.
I don't.
I have him for now a bit above still.
I'd put.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, Loki is like archetype. So Loki deck, Kate Bishop, versatile. So I'd put Loki under Kate Bishop.
Yeah, so we're completely split evenly.
I could take that argument though. I could take the Loki going under Kate Bishop, especially how cracked it is right now. Like with Kate Bishop received some nerf maybe, but yeah, I could see that. Kate Bishop going everywhere, right?
Yeah, we'll probably find more decks with Kate Bishop soon.
Kate Bishop would be even more insane if Loki still had his old effect, because it's like additional cards you're generating for your hand. So if you get the arrows that suck, okay, we'll just Loki it away.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna get a tiebreaker. I'm just asking a group of content creators, Kate Bishop or Loki, who's better. First person that answers is our tiebreaker.
I like it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Gunny, you're not allowed to answer. You're in the group chat.
Oh,
all
come
right.
on.
All right. So Pixie
below
below Marvel Boy, ahead of Blob.
I think
above Wiccan.
I think above Wiccan,
Definitely
below
above Wiccan.
Blob.
Really, I like it better than Blob.
I don't think so.
I think Pixie decks matter, and I don't think Blob goes anywhere.
I never play Pixie anywhere, so I'm biased in that sense. I don't play her.
I mean, I really like decks you can try. Definitely like Pixie decks. I have like I dropped a deck where I had Pixie in it, and I had like Wasp as a 0-cost Infinite, Shuri, Black Knight. It was like a discard Shuri deck. If you get the combo, sometimes you get it with Pixies. Like have a 0-cost Infinite. Super awesome. Just skip a turn, and then you like play Shuri and Infinite, 40 power, and then you Taskmaster the 40 power. It's pretty much like it's like super big power, but like I said, it's like it only works with Pixie, and if you draw Pixie turn 6, then you're screwed basically if you draw her like late. So it's like it can work, but it can also bite you in the ass. So it's like 50-50 RNG based.
I can completely understand it, and I know that Pixie decks can be good. That's just not how I like to play my card games.
Neither.
I like my games to I want to build my deck in a certain way. I want it to be consistent. I want to do the same thing over and over. I don't want to throw randomness in my deck to hopefully win.
Oh,
yeah, I understand
Loki.
it can do
Loki's
it, right?
One.
It's the surprise.
Lauren, because no one answered in the previous group chat, Lauren would have answered Loki is number 1. Cool.
All right.
So wait, is Pixie going above or below Blob? Sorry, I was getting that answer.
I say below.
I personally have it above, but I can live with below.
I have it below.
I put it above only because Blob's not being.
You're gonna need to ask Lauren. You're gonna need to ask Lauren.
Asking Lauren. All right, Lauren is our tiebreaker. She has no idea why I'm asking her these questions.
Yep.
I did not give her context.
That's
but
so funny.
Hopefully she answers again. All right. What's our next card? Oh,
Speed.
So I think Speed's worse than Wiccan because I can see Wiccan having home. Speed's going to have to be buffed to do anything.
I don't agree. I think Speed's better than Wiccan.
Yeah, I'm with Gunny T on this one.
Really?
Yeah, and I think it's better, honestly, than Pixie and Blob.
No, there's no fucking chance it's ahead of Pixie.
I have Speed above Pixie, but maybe below Blob.
There's no chance it's ahead of Pixie. Just because you don't like Pixie decks doesn't mean they're not real.
Listen, I get it. Speed isn't exciting.
You can't tell me I can't.
I know
make
Speed
my opinion.
isn't exciting, but I think overall he's decent.
I don't like Pixie. So my opinion is I think Speed's better.
Yeah, come on, man. Don't hate, man. Awesome.
Lauren has Blob ahead of Pixie. We're not going to ask about Wiccan. So we're going to put... Are we really fucking putting Speed that high?
I have
I
Speed
like it
middle of
better.
the pack on our list.
King of Canada agrees Loki over Kate, by the way.
Yeah.
You really...
Let-
I'm going to rub this in your face when Pixie's near the top of the leaderboard and Speed is
All right,
garbage.
that's
so
fair.
Speed above
That's fair.
Pixie,
You know,
below Blob.
just for this argument alone, I probably might need to just throw a random Pixie deck out and be like, okay, man, you don't like
Yeah.
Pixie, then just play this deck and just tell me if
Sure.
you like it or not.
Pixie, Mobius, and then hammer shit. You'll be fine. All right. What's our next card?
Is it Jeff?
It is. Jeff is number 1.
I have Jeff as my number 1.
So I'm going to tell you this. Within 3 weeks, we're going to think Kate Bishop's better than Jeff. But that's fine. We can have Jeff as number 1.
But Jeff's
Based
not
on sample
replaceable.
size.
I think
Jeff
Jeff should share the spot with Kate Bishop for now, and then
But
test
Loki's
of time,
ahead
we'll
of
just
Kate
have
for
to see.
reasons. Because people have not played the busted Kate decks yet.
I think it's possible
true.
Kate
Like,
takes
I haven't
over.
played
I think
a
it's very
busted Kate deck
possible.
yet.
With time, I think it's very possible.
Sorry. I think that Kate is going to be one of the 2 or 3 best cards in Marvel. It's not exactly where Jeff is right now. And I think Nocturne does a reasonable enough Jeff impersonation, while I don't think anything does a Kate impersonation.
That's a good point. That's fair.
I was already on the
yeah.
fence about Jeff anyways. I think there are so many good 2-drops right now that Jeff's sometimes on the chopping block. I'm putting Jeff right below Kate Bishop. He's a great card.
So that would
awesome
be number
to own.
3. Jeff at number 3?
I'm not putting him
Remember,
ahead.
Loki is 1 right now.
Loki is awesome.
All right. Want to split the difference and make Jeff number 2 and keep Loki at 1?
I can live with that.
Yeah.
All right.
Am I just coping here? I mean, is Jeff the best card in the damn game?
I don't think so anymore.
God.
I think Nocturne's the best card in the damn game.
It's just crazy.
The best card in the game is Daredevil.
Well, obviously, that's the answer. No, I honestly think Nocturne is the best card in Marvel Snap right now.
I think Jeff has just fallen, and maybe it's just not new anymore. It's not exciting, so it's kind of losing some traction as well.
It's only really it's generally speaking only a necessity in Sandman decks against Sandman decks, right?
Yeah.
There's a kid how much Sandman are you seeing? I'm seeing a lot. Everyone isn't. Lad. So our order right now, just for listeners, because we got confused, is number 9 Wiccan, number 8 Pixie, number 7 Speed, number 6 Blob, number 5 Marvel Boy, and there's a clear tier difference right around here, right? Number 4 Red Hulk, number 3 Kate Bishop, and there's seemingly a big difference between Kate and Red Hulk based on our discussion. Then 2 Jeff and 1 Loki.
I think Iron Lad goes above Speed.
Yeah, definitely.
If Iron Lad doesn't go above Speed, I quit. I'm never doing a podcast
I
again.
think it's
What's
a good.
what's right above?
Do we have Blob above Speed? We could put him above
Yes,
Blob.
Iron Lad is also above Blob, yeah. It's not above Marvel Boy, though.
I
No.
agree.
I think it's a good
Right.
spot for it.
So we're going to tier this, too, because we clearly have tiers just in our conversation, right?
Yeah.
Hulkling.
I have him
11?
second to last. I have him as my 12.
He's so worse than Wiccan.
Yeah.
Wiccan has
Same.
at least potential use.
I have Wiccan as my
Hulkling has
11.
no use.
Oh, sorry. My total overall. So I have him right now or last because we have Wiccan at the bottom for now.
I think
Wiccan and then Hulkling. And then I have one card
Okay.
after, but we haven't gotten to it.
And then it's Nimrod. Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
argue that argue that Nimrod should be above a couple of these, but we'll get there. All right, I can live with Hulkling as second last. And I won't argue Hulkling is good. Hulkling's so disappointing. No?
Maybe he's
All right.
good. We'll see.
Look, I hope we're wrong.
I think it's bad.
I get all the
I think
cards.
it's
I
so
just hope
bad.
they're good.
I can't wait to
Cannonball.
I mean, so Hulkling touches me the same area that I think Pixie does, right? I don't know why I worded it that way, but
Yeah, I was like,
we're going with it.
What?
I don't like Pixie because of the randomness, right? I'm not going to put a Hulkling in my deck just to do random stuff. I want to build a deck for a reason. Hulkling ain't it.
Well, the random shit is the reason.
And on top of that, I'm gonna get beat by it for 8 cubes.
Can't fight RNG, man.
Yeah, I feel you.
All right. Cannonball.
That's a tough
think-
one right now.
I think Cannonball
It's ahead of Blob.
below Iron Lad, above Blob.
Yep. That's exactly
I
what
like
have.
that.
Yeah, I
Between
like
Iron
that.
and Blob.
In terms of like raw power, I think it's several spots higher, but like I guess Iron Lad's also pretty high for raw power.
And I also think that there's 1 or 2 cards away from Cannonball just being top of the meta again. Right.
Absolutely.
And that's really, if you look at this list, like a lot of those middle of the line cards where we do tier stuff, is like all of those cards can be top tier as soon as the next card comes out that breaks it.
All right.
Yeah, that's always the cool thing about Marvel stuff. Cards, they can get nerfed, they can fall off a bit, people don't play with them that much, and then one card comes out, and then the card that no one was playing suddenly takes off.
There was literally a point where Black Bolt was thought to be the worst card in Marvel Snap. Like Rock Slide was thought to be the worst card in Marvel Snap for quite a while.
Yeah.
So Nimrod's better than the bottom 2 of this list.
I get
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Like
Mhm.
Nimrod has a real deck. Phoenix Force is a real deck.
for sure. I mean,
It
Nimrod can
is.
still do some work.
So Nimrod's not. I don't think Nimrod's as good as Pixie, but I think it's closer than we'd like to admit. But it's definitely better than Wiccan and Hulkling. And we have speed way too high, just for the record. I'm gonna throw that out there again. There's no fucking way speed does not belong in this bottom group.
So what is speed? Speed's right above Pixie, right?
Yeah,
I think it's
it's
better than Pixie.
wildly high for
I think
speed.
it's better than
Yeah, I
Pixie.
think it's a good
Really?
spot for Pixie. I think it's a very middle of the pack card.
I'm gonna like literally do a special video with
If
Ika just
Wiccan ends up
ranting
being
about
really
Pixie.
good,
All right,
if
I
he's
already
really
know for a
good and
fact
speed
that-
is bad,
I already
make
know
a
for a
video
fact that
talking
Ika's
about
just
That's what I think's
shouting
gonna
at
happen.
his
Yeah, that's gonna-
speaker right
that's
now,
gonna
telling
shake
us
it
we're
up.
all wrong. I got
Ika's
it. I
ripping
know.
his mustache out.
Yep.
Just like his mustache is in tatters. And Jimmy Dickens is sitting there furious.
This is all. That's my opinion, though. Like I know that
Yeah.
Pixie can be good. It's not how I build decks.
Ooh. Actually, can you guys stump for time for me for a minute?
Can we what? Oh, just stall?
Yeah, just stall. Talk about things. Give me 2 minutes.
Okay. Well, we can keep on talking about the Nimrod actually, because I don't know if we actually placed Nimrod. We were thinking maybe above Wiccan and under Pixie. Is that what we were thinking for Nimrod? Gunny, what do you think about that?
I'll give it that. I will give that. I think Pixie does find homes. There are people who are very successful with Pixie.
Yes.
Nimrod has a deck, right? Maybe
Yeah.
Mhm.
2 if you want to throw some Destroyer stuff out there, but like that ain't a deck, right? It's really Phoenix Force.
I am ready. Last 7 days stats. Pixie. Ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
We're only going to use last 7 days because the meta moves too fast. Wow.
Yeah.
You guys are going to be real happy. Ready? We're at
Oh, this is
infinite
bad.
last 7 days Pixie. 46.8% win rate. Negative 0.1 cube rate.
Okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
that hurts. I'm surprised
give
by
me-
the. I'm actually
And then-
surprised by that cube rate.
And then what
Yeah,
about
me
speed?
too. Give me another.
Yeah.
Well, because I've
Well,
clearly
speed's not
told
out
you
yet.
not good.
Just-
Yeah, give me a card that's out. Give me a
He's
card
not
that's out
up
to
to
look up.
speed yet.
Nimrod,
check
look
out
up Nimrod. Look up Nimrod.
Nimrod's going to be high because it's just in Phoenix Force, right?
Yeah, you got
Nimrod's
some
going to be high.
specialty
Nimrod
players.
is at 48%. Want to know Nimrod's average cubes?
Yeah.
What?
0.00.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So slightly better than Pixie. All right, what else do we got? Give me another card.
Iron Lad.
Iron Lad. Well, Iron Lad's in the best fucking deck, so Iron Lad's going to be through the roof. Right? 52.6.1.
Oh, that's good.
Dude, Jeff.
Okay.
Jeff's gonna
Jeff
have
is,
too
let's-
many
Jeff, Jeff
games.
is always right around there. Jeff
See
is like,
and Loki.
yeah, Jeff is
He
52.5
sees
and
too many
0.12.
games. Yeah.
In 24% probably, yeah. 52% and 0.14. Obviously, we must look up Loki.
Yep.
53% and 0.16. Right now, better.
Mm-hmm.
What does Kate Bishop say?
I'm on my way.
Has she been out long enough? Has she?
She's been out long enough.
4
to have,
days.
Oh, shit. Yeah, but she's terrible right now. But like, people are still playing her in bad decks. Like,
Right.
people are still like,
'cause
but
it's,
Zoo.
it's all new
Yeah.
season pass. Yeah. everything
Yeah.
jumps on.
50.7 and 0.04. And her popularity
People are
That's actually-
experimenting,
That's actually
learning the
decent
card.
for the start. That's actually
and her
decent.
popularity is only 1.5%. Like, it's clearly like we don't have real Kate stats yet. Any other cards you want me to check out?
Nope.
No, we don't care about the rest of this list. All right.
Nah.
Nah.
I care about one more card. I want to look at what Marvel Boy has done. So far.
Okay.
All right, yo. New card.
52.6.12, comparable with Jeff.
Not
Wow,
bad.
already.
Actually.
Yeah.
Already, yeah.
That's well, because it takes resources, not money, to buy him, right? So like,
Oh, true. There's just less people playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so that kind of thing does matter in this. All right, cool. That was fun. I should remember to look shit up like that more often when we're fighting about cards.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I think I mean, overall, that means that we got it pretty close, right?
Yeah.
We did a good
Did we
job.
finish
Hey,
our
but,
list?
I don't
We
care what
ranked
the numbers
everything.
say. Yeah. The list is Hulkling at 13, Wiccan at 12. Do we want Nimrod or Pixie? What's better? We have to put Nimrod.
I think
above
we
Pixie now,
said
right?
Nimrod above Wiccan, and then above that Pixie. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nimrod, Pixie, Speed for some unknown to me reason. Blob,
Oh my
Cannonball.
god, I'm gonna
If
eat
you-
my own words. If
Iron
Speed
Lad.
is good.
It's not gonna be good. Iron Lad, Marvel Boy, Rulk, Kate Bishop, Jeff, and Loki. And I'm just gonna quickly tier this for listeners. So the bottom tier right now is Wiccan and Hulkling. The in a couple decks tier is Nimrod, Pixie, and Speed. The good but not like major homes is Blob, Cannonball, Iron Lad. Then we have a tier for Marvel Boy and Red Hulk, which are just like really good cards, and then we have Elite, Kate, Jeff, and Loki. Sound right?
Yeah.
I like
And
it.
I think any
Yeah,
of
it's
those
a good
could
list.
honestly be their positions in those tiers could be adjusted. And
Yeah,
it'd be fine.
That's how tiers work, right? Like tier means there's a good argument for either, right? But like none of us are really gonna like seriously argue that Red Hulk is better than Kate right now, or that Iron Lad is really like currently better than Marvel.
Yeah, I think we tiered them well. I think it's a good list.
As we get to the wrap up portion of the show, it is variant of the week. We've got Blue Marvel because I don't know if you've noticed, but Blue Marvel is all over the goddamn place. Not only in Zoo decks, but in Sandman Ultron lists. So we've got two people who chose Zombie Blue Marvel, and they are our two guests. We've kept the same order, so Dama, why Zombie?
Well, I like the zombie variant because I remember when it came out with the Squirrel Girl, it was like the first zombie pack, and like the main cell was like the Squirrel Girl with the squirrel tokens being zombies. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that stuck in my head. And Blue Marvel, yeah, I wanted to say Dan Hip at first because I know you love Dan Hip as well. So I'm like, okay, let me get a second pick, and then it just turned out to be the zombie variant because I just think it's cool. You know, I'm a super big Marvel fanboy, so all in the MCU and all that stuff. What If Zombies episodes, if y'all seen it. So it reminded me of that. So I'm like, yeah, we need more zombie variants. I saw some. There's some coming, right?
Yeah, so actually I kind of had the same reasons as Black Dama. I remember Blue Marvel coming in that bundle, I think it was made the Halloween bundle, alongside the Squirrel Girl with the first token variants in the game. And now, like you just alluded to, we got some new data mines, and there's going to be a lot more zombie variants, actually. We're getting a good amount more. And we're getting more zombie tokens. I know there was a Bucky Barnes Winter Soldier zombie, and they both Bucky and the Winter Soldier have the variant. So I have this good image in my head that the zombie variants are like the good ones that give token variants. So it's just going to be a cool collection. And actually, this one, not only is cool because the zombies animated looks really good. The way the lightning moves when you see this in game, it actually looks very nice, and it looks good split and stuff. So I'm a big fan of this one. And yeah, it's a great variant.
Someone just commented on my video to go, how do you replace Grandmaster? And it's like, there's a fucking replacement slide, homie. All right, whatever. Sorry.
They don't watch the whole video, Glazer. They just want you to tell them after they give you only 10 seconds of watch time.
People like get mad at me about that. We're like, why can't you just answer me? I'm like, just fucking watch, homie. Like
Yeah.
I get it for some people, right? Like some people don't do replacements. I do replacements on every motherfucking deck.
Yeah, that's how you go. You just say, "Oh, it's in the video here." Like I covered that in the video. That's what
I said it's on the replacement slide. That's it. Like if you can't go find it there, like Grandmaster, there's always a replacement for fucking Grandmaster, right? All right. I picked a Hip, and so did Gunny because we have proper taste. The end. Hips are the
Dan Hip's always a solid choice.
On that note, specifically this Dan Hip, I just really enjoy the colors of it. Like that really bright white over his hands, matching into his eyes, the purple background, like it all just pops really well. And I think, I do like Dan Hip quite a bit, specifically because I play this game to have fun. And I think Dan Hip just really drives that fun factor. But not all Dan Hips are great. Some of them are not actually that great. But this one in particular, I do think looks very nice.
Yeah. Also, this is a phenomenal character. If you've ever read the comics, such a good character.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely Blue Marvel, top notch.
All right.
All right, Aaron, you ready to take us out?
First, please remember to follow Black Dama on Twitter, where the B is at the number 6. And then everything else is spelled the way you'd like to. Black Dama, why should people follow you?
Follow me on my page, Twitter, Black Dama. As mentioned, I'm just a regular guy, just love to play Marvel Snap, I don't know how I got in this position, I was just like, let me just upload something on Twitter because I've seen there's a Marvel Snap community and just took off. So now I'm in the scene. People expecting me to drop decks. I just try to make decks, help everyone out, just think of fun, cool stuff, new ways to play decks, try to come up with new ideas. I just try to look out for the little guys, people, if they don't always have all the cards that I mentioned in the decks, I always try to respond to everyone and give pointers and replacement options. And hey, what would you put in if you're missing that in that card? I love to do that. I love to interact with the community. So if you're into that stuff and like to look at unique decks, then definitely check out my page. And yeah.
Twitter is a cesspool. It is one of my least favorite places in the whole wide world. I open Twitter on Fridays to see a Black Dama drop today. I don't even post my own shit on Twitter anymore 3/4 of the time, 90% of the time, but I like his content that much that I subject myself, bless you, Gunny,
bless you, man.
Thank you.
Elon Musk's complete bullshit. There's, I think, literally three people who don't make content elsewhere that are, I think, if not for those three, I would never open that guy. And Black Dama is number 1 on that list. Very few people on Twitter are able to sound reasonable, sound excited, and sound like they're not either shilling. Hi, that's me. I'm shilling if I'm on Twitter almost always. That's the only reason I ever post anything. I hate that app. And sound like they're genuinely kind and they're promoting community and care about things. And Black Dama is one. And if you are on that cesspool of an app, you should 1,000% follow him. Although, I'm going to be honest, if you don't have Twitter, please don't download it for him. Nothing is worth getting. But if you have it, you should 1,000% be followed.
If you have it,
if you love Marvel Snap.
You know what my favorite thing about Black Dama decks is just
Galactus?
I don't even know where his mind goes. He just takes cards and puts them in unique patterns that you just don't even think about, right? It's so easy to look at Marvel Boy and be like, "Oh, that's a zoo deck." Pretty much anyone can do that, right? Black Dama's taking those crazy cards out there, putting out unique decks, and it's not only one of, right? I have made one deck, those Big Dumb Idiots, right? And that really wasn't that hard to make. But Black Dama does that over and over and over again, and I just don't understand it. How do you just come up with these deck ideas, Black Dama?
Well, it's hard. It's hard, So I was I think the hard part is, always when a new card drops, of course, you're in the web, you're on Twitter. I always look at a lot what other people's stuff do, and then a lot of times, someone comes up with something, and then that's what the main staple is. So a new card comes out. It's okay. So if you want to play this new card to the best of its abilities, you should run this type of deck, and then the new card drops, and an archetype for that particular card is born. And I always think about it okay, so this is the main archetype for this card, but you have thousands of people playing Marvel Snap, and you have thousands of people who like different play styles and different things. So, and then a new card comes out and gets pushed into a corner in a certain archetype, and I'm like, man, yeah, I understand it, and it works, and it's good, and it's strong, and it might be busted, but let me see if I can diverge from that path and try to put the card in a different setup with different cards.
Yeah.
Like, hey, yeah, maybe that can work, and then I just rinse and repeat. I put cards together. I run it a couple of times. If it not runs how I wanted to, I replace some cards, and at some point I just find this sweet spot, and I'm like, okay, it seems good on paper. I won some games. It looks strong. I'm just gonna post it and see how it goes. If the people like it, they like it. And if they don't, okay, fuck it. Next week a new cards drop. I'm gonna do the same thing again. That's basically
Aaron,
my routine.
is Black Dama, Ika, and Interrobang tied for like most creative decks?
I mean, no, I think Black Dom is more creative than either of them.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be rude.
Thanks,
I
man.
think-
Means a lot. I try my best. I don't want to hate on anyone.
I really like both of their decks, but like,
Yeah.
and Taro's decks are, I mean, like they're really good, but I don't think they're like the most creative thing in the world. And Ika's somewhere between the two.
Yeah.
Ika's very weird, but like it always makes sense. Ika builds very much similar to Safety.
Yeah.
Ika and Safety, like they have a love of bad cards. And like, so like you'll like, I take their brews and I'm like, which two cards here are the bad ones?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, sorry, Intero. Intero heard that and just got a little sad. It's not an insult. You're really good.
Shout out to Intero. Shout out to everyone in the Marvel Snap community, because if it wasn't for everybody pushing content, pushing out decks, I remember when I like first started out, just like watching other people make decks, and at some point I was like, man, I had like a deck or two. I'm like, man, I don't know if this is good or not. I'm just gonna post and just see how it goes, and then it blew up basically overnight. I'm like, okay, maybe I should try to do this again, and then it just became routine basically. I'm like, all right, and that's the cool thing about Snap. Therefore, that every Tuesday, or at least here in Germany, every Tuesday at 9 p.m. new card drops. I get excited because I'm like, okay, I'll never run out of ideas because I'll have a new card coming out every week, so I can like try to challenge myself again. Okay, how did that deck go this week? How did the people respond to it? Okay, new cards coming out. Even if the card sucks or we know it's going to suck, I try my best to think of something that could make it halfway playable or whatever. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it doesn't stop me. I'm just like super motivated. I just want to like throw that out there. I came up with this deck. Try it out. If you like it, cool. Show me some results, how it goes. If you didn't like it, I'm cool with that too. So, yeah.
All right. Next up, Docty. Why are you the king of new Marvel Snap card content?
Because Drewberry stopped making videos.
Hashtag truth.
But
I mean,
yeah, so
you're better at evaluating. Like Drew Berry is an amazingly charming human being. You're better at card evaluation than Drew Berry.
I appreciate that, and I still keep up. He makes some rival content. He still makes some good content, and so yeah, my focus on my channel is upcoming cards or upcoming content, specifically with new cards. Yeah, I'm putting out a video every week, giving my predictions, thoughts, ideas for the upcoming cards, why I think they may be good or not. What to look out for when deciding if you're going to spend your precious resources on it. And I'll cover the whole season preview. I'll do spotlight ratings, and then every now and then I even get our good friend Glazer here on the channel, and we do a Series 4 and Series 5 tier list to further help players decide how to spend their resources. So I do live stream once a week on Tuesdays, but other than that, my videos don't have any gameplay anymore. It's all focusing
Right?
on
suckers.
yeah. It's all focusing on helping players decide how they're going to spend your resources and get the cards that are going to add the most value to your collection.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I watch Docty every week, every single week. His video is required viewing, literally almost always before I make my video, because he's better at card evaluation than literally anyone except maybe Safety. So you should 1,000% be watching. You should 1,000% be listening to all his advice and taking it seriously. He's like the best at card acquisition in the game, despite his very awkward hate of cards like Pixie, that are quite good. He's just like the best. He's the best at what he does, and if you want to follow the best at what they do, and I think that's a really good way to go through things. Follow the person who's the best at getting you certain pieces of information, not the flashiest, not the shiniest, the best at getting you information, and you should follow Docty for that. And I'll be on his if you're listening to this at this point in the episode, over 2 hours in, you clearly like our content, right? So like you should 100% go there, because Docty and I are basically going to have an extra podcast that comes out like next Monday when we tier all the series 4 and 5 cards. So make sure you're subbed for that too.
Thank you very much
Sounds
for the kind
good.
words.
Always. All right. Ready? I've got a bunch of Patreon names. Everybody ready?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to say thank you to our $10 patrons, starting with Abigail Giesler, Editor Burnout, Cables, Matt H., Irregardless, David G. Wingfield, Direwolf, LAB, Father, Namika, Doug Amber, Deuce, Vilt, Inc., I Am Frostman, Jane Everett, Corwin, Prime Drying, Caretix, Lee, Quarrier, Perofrost, The Goat Seeker, Demon Falcon, Doc D and his Fat Nick, Ginger Prime, Philip Ratko, Haplo, Kenny Loggins with the Danger Zone, Rob Silverman, The Biz, Exorcy, and Skippy G, Time Nekist, winner of Snapchat League Season 1, King of Bros, Black Dahlia, The Great Kazoo, Jessica Gamble, Ryan Wood, Kevsey Hoda, Ludacris, Quantum Quinn, John Q, Clam, Eighth Sage, Mod Supreme, Models, Darth Tater, Remus Atala, Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, Jason B, J. James Donaldino, The Fuzzy Dunlop, Spectrum X Hoot, Matt H, DJ Mikey Hedgigs, No Flex, Ocularis, Craig Starry, Seamus Jonesy, Two Ties, the great Lauren Whatevs, who broke a tie for us this episode, the Pirate King Tucker, the Homie Min, and of course, Gunny T, where the T stands for I play just for fun.
That was super fast.
Thank you. I did my best. I've gone faster.
Practiced.
Yeah, I do that every day, right? Sometimes twice a day. This is the third time I've done that today. All right. Please remember to follow our guest, Black Dama, on Twitter, with the 6 as the black, and Docty_Snap on YouTube in particular. For Gunny T, you can find a million awesome tournaments. Mr. Just for Fun runs all the tournaments in Marvel Snap. I believe he is running the frickin' SnapCon tournament, so if you're going to
Yeah,
SnapCon,
I'm good to
you
see
will meet him
Docty
there.
in person, man.
You guys both suck. And, sorry, got distracted. And you can join our King of the Hill tournaments and Snap Judge League Season 3 on the Snap Judge League Discord, linked in the description to this and every video we post. Thank you so much for joining us, Dom.
No problem. Thank you for having me on. It was a great experience. Love to meet you guys. I hope this isn't the last time. I'll try my
Anytime
best
you want
to...
to stay up till 5 a.m., you're welcome to.
Oh my god. It's so fucking late. You know, I'm in my car right now.
Oh no!
Because everyone's sleeping in my apartment. I've been in my car this whole time.
Yeah, I know. What a champion.
I didn't realize it. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I realized it.
You can see the door thing above the
I can
handle
now
above
that
the window.
now that I'm looking.
Yeah,
I
like
was
right here, right? You know, I'm like, ugh, holding on, but I'm like, you know, I said, fuck it, I'm off, I'm on vacation, you know, my sister's here, we're having a good time. So I'm like, man, I wanted to do this, waited a long time, so no problem. I'll get a good night's sleep, and then tomorrow, more action. And I'll just drop a
Nice.
deck sometime random tomorrow or today
That's
in a couple of
dedication.
hours.
That's
So-
dedication right
so
there.
yesterday, those of you, as this goes live, so make sure you check. All right. Thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much for joining us, Docty. And, you know, it's like 6 p.m. where he is. He's just perfectly fine chilling.
It's 8 p.m. Let's do the minus 3 hours from you. Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
do math. I teach English.
It's always a pleasure being on.
Gunny T,
It's so,
Always.
so cool.
always a joy, my friend.
Yes, sir. I'm so excited about Marvel Snap coming up. We're 1 more week away from meeting so many cool players out in Tampa, Florida. It's going to be an amazing time. I'm just looking forward to it so much.
All right.
So
That'll-
awesome.
That's going to sign us out, everybody. Peace and love.
Peace out.